What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with us. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's going on, friends and family? What's happening, chat? What up, everybody in the building? I appreciate y'all for continuing to hold us down. Hey, you know how you know you got that good water? Like it's perfectly chilled? Is when it had its perspiration around it. When you get the perspiration around the water, that's when you know it's perfectly chilled. What up, friends? What up, chat? What up to everybody in the building? I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to hold me down. I've never fully mastered rolling up my sleeves. I don't know what that is. But we here. We here. Dropped the video inside of the Patreon yesterday. Shout out to the Bag Chasers. Had a great live stream last night. Shout out to everybody that pulled up and was rocking with us. Jesse Xavier says, how you doing, AD? I'm doing incredible. Let me tell you something. I believe that we have like the #1 night panel show that addresses popular culture subjects ever. Like, I look at all of these other places and all of these other shows that continue to try to duplicate what we created. They'll never catch up. And one of the reasons that they never gonna catch up is because I'm not gonna stop innovating. I'm not gonna stop tinkering. I'm not gonna stop modifying things. They'll never catch up. They'll never catch up. How y'all doing, chat? You know what else? I got a video coming out in the Patreon. I dropped one yesterday, but I got to go to this event today, and I'm also going to be recording while I'm at the event. And today I was actually, so when I go to the, so many different ways to man this out, all right? The only way that I can get my car washed is if I either go to the do-it-yourself, I'm gonna get there, Dane, is if I'm gonna either do it myself, like, you know, you're doing it in your own driveway, or you go to the touchless car wash, or you gotta have somebody come to you. Whenever you go to a car wash, right? Let's say if you was to ever go to a regular do-it-yourself car wash. It's a regular video, Tiffany. Don't worry about it. It's up. You can go and rewatch it. Whenever I go to a regular car wash, they stop me and say, no, we can't do your car. Because either it's sit too low or they don't want the liability and the responsibility if anything happens to the car. They don't mind doing the regular cars. They will not do exotic cars at a regular car wash, right? And so you have to spend the extra money if you want the convenience of somebody coming to you and then doing it yourself, right? So I have a guy, or I got a company, but it's a guy that I connected with and I rock out with, and he actually comes to me. Like, he'll come and do all of the cars. He comes to my building and he does my car, you know, or whatever car that I'm driving, or he'll go out to the house and he'll do all of the cars and stuff, right? And the thing that I realized about life and money and resources as a business owner, right? You cannot cater to the middle. You either got to cater to the lowest cost or you got to cater to the highest cost. You can't be in between. If you want to be successful, if you want to run a great business, you either got to go based off of volume, or you got to go like value and volume, or you got to go based off of luxury and opportunity. But we going to get there. I'm going to talk about it in the Patreon. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. It is so much value. I am putting up when we're going to do the live stream, and I'm putting up additional details. I had to drop a video on the Patreon yesterday, but I'm putting up when we're doing another live stream, which is going to be a couple days from now. And then I'm also going to put up information about the exact location, the time of the meetup, and all of that. It's going to be lit. I already tell you it's going to be lit. I might even bring a friend with me. In life, there's no in-betweens, but I'm going to talk about that on my next video that I'm shooting today. D-Wash says, yes, I like the panel. Gets me through my ride home from work. Molly and Slimmy crash out can be expected, but I'm sure they like each other even though they differ on things. It's a fun show. It's an incredibly fun show. Incredibly fun show. You know what I'm saying? Awesome time, awesome opportunity. And I'm looking forward to kicking it with everybody at least once every other month at the meetup location. September, we supposed to be in Dallas. This month, we are going to be in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. That's correct, terrible people. Niche market is the way to go. That Lambo can't get through the Mr. Car Wash like my Mustang. It'll scrape the bottom of the car up. It'll mess up the paint job. The additional options just for the paint alone is like the stripe, the extra stripe was $14,000. The color, I think, was an additional $30,000. Something like that, right? If y'all know what the meetups is like, then y'all know what's up. Let me ask y'all a question before we get started with the show, because we got a lineup today. Oh, man, I'm so right. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. I'm so right. So I almost want to go to Chicago first. But I'm not. I think I'm going to go to Chicago third. All right, so we got to figure out what we're going to play. I can talk about that super gaming. We're going to talk about what we're going to play at halftime. And all of that, right? We're going to figure that out. So let me tell you some of the things I got on the docket, and then I got to ask y'all a question before we get started with the show. So obviously, we're going to do a content creator and their thoughts. We always do that on the first thing. Secondly, we have to address the collapse in New York City. So we're going to go through that. Third, we're going to go to Chicago. Got to tackle Chicago. Brandon Johnson officially came out and admitted what I've been teaching you guys, and that's how I know these people watch the show. Shout out to everybody that's in the Brandon Johnson's office, Chicago, that's looking for insight on how they need to run the city. I'm going to give y'all the game on how to run the city because I want y'all to do better. They came out yesterday and said, yo, we are not hitting projected revenues that we needed to hit in order to balance the budget, even though we said we balanced the budget. Man, let me give myself a round of applause. I am good. I can't believe that they actually came out and admitted it. I am good. And I keep on telling y'all, I'm telling y'all what is going to happen in these cities before it even happens. The numbers are going to tell the truth. Y'all know who makes the most money in finance? The quant. The quant. We gonna get there. I'm telling you. So we gonna talk about that. Some of the other things that I got on the docket. I never got to boomers divorcing. Fuel shortages in Russia. Russia is actually losing the war. Waymo is calling the police on unruly teens. Boomers are divorcing. I never got to Jersey City is raising their property taxes incredibly high. And it's another thing. People keep asking me, you know what aggravates me more than anything before we get started with the show? You know what aggravates me? What aggravates me so much is that people will come into my comments, they'll come into the chat. I seen somebody talking about it yesterday on not on the Million in the Morning Show, on After Hours in the chat. They'll come in my chat and they'll say, I bet you won't talk about this. Why haven't you addressed this yet? Is it because they're white? I don't know what the F y'all talking about. What are y'all talking about? Is something white, something happened from a white man or something like that? Somebody give me some insight, please. If y'all know what story I'm talking about, something happened, something white happened, and black people are equal accountability, victimhood mentality type people. And so people want me to talk about something from some man that's white, which I'm not even aware of. If y'all can give me some insight on what's going on. I don't know. I don't be knowing what the hell y'all be talking about half the time. It's almost like y'all search the news for white people doing some white stuff and y'all trying to make sure that we get equal coverage across the board. Hey, diversity, equity, and inclusion my show. No, it's not a random white man. It's some white, something, I don't know, man. Maybe I can go through my comments and I can figure it out. Is it Nolan Wells? Who is Nolan Wells? Thank you, bro. Thank you for telling me who it is. Who the hell is Nolan Wells? Who is Nolan Wells? Let me look this junk up. I don't be knowing none of these people. Mississippi 18-year-old, absolutely devastated. Okay, so we'll talk about that. Let me throw that on the docket too. Y'all think I just be sitting around all day trying to, like, yeah, it's my job to know what's going on, but I don't be even knowing until most of the stuff that I find out about. All right, so let me give y'all a little bit more insight, and then we're gonna get into the show. All right. When news reporters on major news networks, I don't care if it's Fox News, I don't care if it's CNN, I don't care if it's ABC, NBC, I don't care if it's ESPN, what, no matter whatever it is, right? Y'all have to remember that I'm an independent outlet. I'm independent. So when y'all see these live streams that we do and it's all produced and I got all of these different stories and I cover 8 different subjects every single day on the Millionaire Morning Show, and then I got to produce for After Hours, which is a whole nother monster. And then we do all of the videos, and then I drop videos inside of the Patreon, and I'm working about 17, 18 hours a day. Most of these major news networks, they have producers, executive producers, assistants, camera people. They have all of these different people, right? I am operating at a high level as far as producing more views than a lot of these different outlets and independent people and whatever. But I don't have all of the overhead, all of the producers, all of this other type of stuff. So I'm building it as I fly it, right? So I'm the producer. I got help when it comes to editing and stuff like that, but I'm the producer and all of that. That's why I depend on the people. That's why I lean into the people to tell me. I'm going to actually add that on After Hours too. I depend on the people to give me insight. That's why I lean so heavily on my assistants. I lean on my email, and I check my email regularly because the people are the ones that give me insight into what's going on. So don't come to me talking about, oh man, I can't believe you didn't talk about this. I'm not scared to give my opinion on anything. Y'all remember how I found out about Cyrus Carmack? I'm literally on the Millionaire Morning Show, and people in my chat was like, Anton, cover Cyrus Carmack. Anton, get your thoughts about this. And I'm like, oh, okay. Somebody says, this dusty ass nigga right here. So tired of this dusty motherfucker right here. But he know about a random hood rat in a Lambo in Florida. Well, she's not random. She was a big content creator. And if even Kai Cenat was covering her, why would I not know about her? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Apologize to the churches. Apologize when we ain't got to worry about the school teachers and stuff. Apologize to all of the people for cursing. That is not, I thought I was on After Hours. I'm on the Millionaire Morning Show, so I gotta tone it down. It's the morning time. Can't be talking how I would normally talk in real life. Gotta tone it down for the people that want to be able to have me playing outside. Hey, Dunn. Stop trying to get me to censor people. I'm not going to send people to the shadow realm. I don't just because I don't agree with somebody or just because I cuss somebody out doesn't mean that I'm gonna censor them. People are still able to disagree with me and say whatever it is that they want to say. But I'm not censoring people just because I disagree with them. All right. Um all right, y'all. All right, y'all. And I found out about that by people telling me about what's happening. Anyways, let me get to it. All right. So we're gonna cover that, and I'm gonna discover about what's going on with that whole situation, and we're gonna go from there. All right. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. The first thing that I'm going to cover, Nolan Wells. So we'll cover that fourth before we get to anything else, or maybe we'll cover that after the break. The first thing that I want to cover is this video that somebody sent me that I don't want to cover on the Anton Daniels channel, but it is something, it's a sentiment that I want to talk about before we get into the show. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
Why is it so hard for some men to understand the concept that just because you have personally benefited from being in America, you have reached some level of success and financial stability, does not mean America is this great, wonderful, fantastic country? Like, why is it so hard to understand that just because you aren't being affected by the current administration, by America, your finances aren't being negatively affected, doesn't mean that's the case for everyone else? Why is basic empathy such a difficult concept to understand? And also the concept of privilege. Why do so many people get triggered at the thought of being told you have privilege? That's a good thing. I'm glad I have privilege. I'd rather have privilege than not have it. I'd rather, like, who wants to be in a position where you have no privilege? That sucks. And a lot of people are in that position. Let's be grateful. Let's acknowledge it.
So the first thing that I noticed when I was looking at this video is that he has a hole in his shirt. On his right or his left, he has a hole in his shirt. And the reason why that caught my eye is because I'm trying to understand these guys, right? I'm trying to understand these guys. And when I say I'm trying to understand them, I'm trying to understand weak men. Genuinely, I'm trying to understand weak men. I was talking to somebody this morning and I said, I don't understand these guys out here. And it was a girl and she said, well, what do you mean? I said, there's one thing to see women doing what women do and being chaotic and rebellious. And there's another thing to see weak men speak like this, speak like women. And so the girl said, well, Anton, that's because it's either one or two things. Either they're gay or, they're just a really docile type of guy. And the problem with this conversation, though, is these are the type of guys that other guys are trying to tell women to get with. And women inherently don't want to be with men that speak like this. They don't. They really don't. I think that Detroit is the greatest city in the world. Now, people that's never been here or people that has visited here and couldn't make it here, or people that are have a certain disposition towards the city may feel differently. A winner's mentality is to ultimately want to be the greatest at whatever it is that you do. A winner's mentality is to go to a team and say, man, we about to win a championship. A winner's mentality is to say, hey, man, we can make this the greatest thing ever. A winner's mentality, a man's mentality, a man's man mentality is to always want to be the greatest and to always want to be the best. I draw inspiration from stuff every single day. I ran into a guy today and he had the sickest beard ever. And I was like, I got to get on my game. I got to get on my game. I don't look at it and say, oh man, that I can't believe it. Everybody don't have a sick beard. I don't say that. I say, you know what? I got to get on top of it. I see a dude that run down the street every day and he working out, and I said to myself, you know what? Let me go ahead and put that in my calendar and dedicate myself. You know why? Because I draw inspiration to be better, to be greater. The goal is to be greater at whatever it is that I do. I don't sit here and complain about my lot in life. Never have, never will. I make adjustments to make sure that I maximize anything that God has given me. I want to maximize it. So when I see men that talk like this, right? How can you live in America? How can you live in America? Because it's one thing to say, you know what? I don't necessarily care about this leader, whether you're talking about a local leader. I don't necessarily care about this mayor. I don't care about this governor. I don't care about the president, whether you're Democrat or Republican, but that's not going to stop me from getting money. It's not going to stop me from understanding that we still live in the greatest country of all time. How can you live in some place and not feel like it's the best, or at the very least work towards making it the best? We have so many docile, weak men, and it aggravates me. It really does piss me off sometimes to hear men talk, and then I realize, you know what? There has to be a hierarchy. There has to be a hierarchy. It has to be a hierarchy of men, so I understand it, but it's weird to me, bro, because I actually feel bad for the women sometimes, and I be thinking to myself, these are the type of guys that y'all got to be with. They don't have no motive. They talking about privilege? Man, let me tell you something. You know what privilege is? Privilege is what you create that's best for yourself that give you a leg up on everybody else. That's what privilege is making good decisions that's going to translate into more money and more opportunity for you. That's all it is. It's a self-made, human-made, creating every day. Every day you have the opportunity to give yourself more privilege if you really wanted to find it. That's all it is. It's opportunity to win. The only privilege that all of us have consistently across the board, most of us that's watching this show, is the fact that we all born in America. That's all we need. Yo, we was born here. We got all of our faculties. We got all of our fingers, all of our toes, legs. It's up from there. Oh, man, I'm running. I'm going. I'm pushing. And I always use I am a black man born in the inner city of Detroit between Norfolk and Chippewa, 7 Mile and 8 Mile, Wyoming and Livernois, and I'm able to get rich. What are you talking about? They was just fighting to get away from certain fountains and getting hung less than 100 years ago. Less than 200 years ago, we was looked at as property. We couldn't even vote. Women couldn't even vote. Now they're the ones that's determining elections. What are you talking about, bro? If you exist in 2026 and you're born in this country, you got citizenship in this country, what are you talking about? We up. We got everything at our fingertips. We got community colleges. We can transfer over to major universities. You can not take credit. You can take credit. You can buy whatever you want. You can live wherever you want. You're not limited to it. I know people that slept in their cars for 2 years to save up and bought their house cash. What we talking about? I make more, bro. I make more money when Democrats are ruining things because it gives rich people more opportunities to take advantage of what y'all doing. Republicans is clearing the field, and this is my genuine opinion. Republicans are the ones that say, you know what? We got to clear the field, and we got to make sure that we not giving nobody a leg up. But if you want it, you're going to have to go and get it yourself. Democrats was like, hey, Anton, you want some diversity, equity, and inclusion? I was like, not really. It was like, well, you can have it anyway. Okay. I get richer talking about Biden and Kamala Harris in office than I do about what's happening with Trump. As crazy as that sounds. I should have been rooting for Democrats to win because the views are way higher when I talk about Democrats in office. Somebody said jobs is hard to find sometimes. How? You go and get a job, and it may not be the one that you want, but you work it until you continue to apply to other things and you build up your skill set until you get the thing that you really want. You do what you need to do until you do what you have to, until you can do what you want to do. Jay Briz, I'm touching on it today. I said I was going to talk about it today. I just found out what it was this morning. Oh, man, the jobs that you want is not the ones that's available. The jobs that you think you deserve is not necessarily the ones that's available. But guess what? It gets smaller at the top. So you do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. You work it until you don't. I was already up. And you know what's so funny? And I'm going to always bring this up and I'm going to throw it in y'all face. I had retired and I was doing incredibly well in life. My businesses was doing well. Social media was doing well. Everything is doing well. I retired in 2019. During the pandemic, I got an opportunity to make even more bags. And people literally laughed at me. They laughed at me and they said, oh man, I can't believe you're going to get a regular job. You supposed to be rich. Why are you going to get a regular job? What? I'm sorry. Am I supposed to put a limit on the amount of bags that I'm supposed to get? People laughed at me from work. They laughed at me for working. And then they came back in 2025 and 26 and said, oh my God, I can't find the jobs that I want. So which one is it? Just because I'm ahead of the curve don't mean that I'm wrong. You off. The same people that was sitting there whining and saying, you remember, Keisha, the same people that was sitting there whining and saying, Anton, I can't believe that you're going to get a regular job. That didn't mean that I was going to stop streaming. It didn't mean that I was going to stop getting the bag. It didn't mean that I was going to stop running it up. It didn't mean that I wasn't going to fit it in. Bro, if a normal job today, said, Anton, we don't want you to stop streaming. This is not going to affect your schedule. You can take meetings or you can pretend to sit in meetings while you on a live stream or whatever, and we're going to give you a crazy amount of money. Guess what? I'm taking it. I want all bags, no limits. Y'all too prideful. Y'all stuck in y'all own way. So prideful. Everybody is all, wait, you prideful and you ain't, how you gonna have pride and you broke? How you gonna have pride and you broke? What's wrong with y'all? Why would I not work? I'm a man. That's what we do. We supposed to work. Ain't that what we supposed to do? That's why we the bag chasers. Oh my God, America's not the greatest. Just because it is for you personally doesn't mean that everyone is doing well. Okay, well, name me a country in the world where everybody is doing well and nobody is poor. Nobody is suffering. Nobody is losing. Nobody is in prison. Nobody is in jail. What are you talking about? Just because America is the greatest for you doesn't mean it is great for everybody. Man, if you don't get your gay self up off your car and do something and get to that bag and run it up, you talking about, bro? I drive a Lamb as my regular everyday driver in a 2026, 2027 Lamb. You talking about? It is the greatest country, and I don't know no other country that I can go to and then I could just run it up based off of their currency, not based off of ours, based off of their industry and their currency, and then I'd be driving a Lamb. I don't know none. I don't know no country where I can create platforms and have jobs and make sure that my friends get a bag too. I don't know no country where I could just go over to and run up a check. My friends is balling. My friends is eating. I'm able to hire people that's in the bag chasers. My editors make 100,000 plus a year. Nigga, what else you want America to do for you? What else you want America to do for you, bruh? You want everything to be handed to you on a platter? You want everybody to do everything for you? I got a person that's detailing my car while I live stream because I'm going to a car show this evening. And he just so happened to be a black man that make a lot of money. He drives an exotic car. Don't be fooled by the truck, the business that he got. You see him riding around in his mobile detailing car, but he drive a luxury car. That's how we met. We was talking and was like, oh man, I love your car. He was like, man, I love your cars. And he was like, I follow you or whatever. And I said, man, let me get your card. He was living the American dream. My mobile detailing guy is living the American dream. And the reason that I hired him is not because he's black. I hired him because he does a great job. He's a decent person and he bring his own water. He not needy. I could just throw him the keys. Hey, man, I'm going to be here. I'm parking here. I'm going to be live streaming today. Can you take care of this? Yeah, man, I got you. And I don't need no water hookup or nothing. I bring my own water. I bring my own stuff. Cool. I overpay you. He a winner because he's aggressive in his success. He's aggressive in his ability to pursue success in America. And he winning. He winning. He winning. Hey, y'all don't understand how important that is, the daily discourse. Because he's moving based off of my convenience. I don't have to be at a certain place. I don't have to wait. I could just go. Hey man, listen, bro. I'm about to be at work or I'm about to live stream. I'm gonna be at the studio. All right, cool. I got you, big dog. When they bring their own water, bro, when they don't have to hook up to somebody else's water, but they already got, because it's preparation. When opportunity meets preparation, that's what success looks like. When he's doing the thing that some other people are not willing to do. He come to you, he travel to you, and he make a ton of money because he do it. He live in a big ass house with nice cars, a dope girl that rock with him, and he run it up. It's so many ways to make money. It's so many ways to make money, bro. This is whining and complaining, bro. You a grown man. Get out there and get what you talking about. Oh man, they not giving me a job. Man, I will go. Bro, I will go and drag cars. I will go and do whatever it is. I mean, I'll go to the car wash and be drying cars. $1, $2, $3, $5 tips, whatever. Stack that up. Go sleep in my car. Go to get a cheap apartment. Go get another part-time job. Go get another full-time job. Go to school, level up, run up a bag, and go and get it, man. It's what you talking about. We hustlers. We hustlers. And I love it. What up, Heather? I love hustlers, bro. I love doing business with good hustlers. Make sure y'all hit a like for that. I can't stand no lazy people, bro. I can't stand it. It pisses me off. It just grinds my gears. You know what I'm saying? Solomon, shout out to you, says Anton is right. I worked at a hospital job for 7 months, getting underpaid, got my Azure Cloud certification, and recently landed 100. Run that back up, bro. 28 years old, making $180,000 a year. Run that bag up, bro. They want to sit here and tell, no. Solomon, they want you to think that there's no opportunity because, oh my God, you're only 28. You shouldn't be making that amount of money. Man, get out of there, bro. There's so much money to be made. There's so many bags to go and get. Dean Murray says, where would you say your hustling mentality came from, AD? Was it ingrained in you? I didn't want to be poor. I told this story before, bro. And being born in Detroit, when we was being raised, being born in the 80s in Detroit, you thought that your life is going to be, okay, I graduate high school, and then I go and get a job in the plant. Work at Ford, Chrysler, and GM. That was the play. When we were young men, my pastor was not a type of pastor that depended on the tithes and the offerings of the church to be okay, right? He actually was an executive. He worked at Tenneco. Tenneco was a supplier for the big three or whatever. He was an executive, right? And all of my uncles was relatively successful. They was lawyers, it was executives. They did really, really well. My father and all of that, right? And he sat the men down in the church, and we was kind of kicking it. And it was all of the young men, and it was the older guys, and and this is the importance of men, real men in your life, right? And he sat us all down, and he said, listen, he did the same thing that I do to the internet. And he said, hey, what do y'all think is a lot of money? And we was like, oh man, if we can make, work at the plant, get a car, get $25 an hour, $30 an hour, they making $32 an hour at the plant or whatever. He was like, what if I told you that I made, and he said a crazy number to us at the time. And we was like, what? Because we like, we getting money. But you don't know, because people don't really be that transparent and talk about how much money they're getting. And he was like, and I was like, what? I don't even know if I still got his number. And he showed us, and he broke down how much money that he was making. And we was like, yo, that's crazy. That is absolutely insane. We thought that was the craziest thing ever before. And his wife drove a Range, and he was driving a Mercedes. And he was like, yo, y'all gonna have to unlock yourself from this stupid hood mentality. He was like, you can be educated, you can have everything you want in this life. He said, and you can be a saint, and you can love God. And he was like, y'all gonna stumble along the way or whatever. When my brother, when certain things in my life, I remember when I was in middle school, because my father sent me to private school for 2 years in middle school. And I went to a party, like a little power party slash gathering. Um, for a friend, because even after middle school, you go to high school, right? And in high school, you still stay in touch with a lot of the same people that you was cool with in middle school. And even though I was going to a public school in Detroit, I still stayed in touch with a lot of people that I had went to private school with. And so, it was different parties. And I remember this house, it was so gigantic, bro. Her parents wasn't there, and she was a white girl. And I had never seen a house that big before in my life. It was so many rooms, so many bathrooms, it was so much going on. And all of the kids, they were driving BMWs. It's pretty crazy that my kid driving a BMW now. And all of the young people, and they was driving BMWs, and they was driving these Mercedes, and they was driving their parents' cars, and they were talking about their portfolios and what they were going to do with their life and stuff like that. And I went back and you don't realize how small the house is that you live in until you go and visit a big place. And it seems so small. The hood seems so small. The street seems small. My bedroom seems small. Everything just seems so small. And I made up in my mind after that in high school that I was going to be rich. I was going to be rich. I was not going to be a product of my environment. I was not going to be a regular everyday person. That I was going to do something completely different, and that my destiny was to have that Lamborghini. My destiny was to be able to travel where I wanted to go and to do the things that I really, really, really wanted to do. I made up in my mind right then and there, you know what? It's another life out here, and I don't want no parts of just being in the hood selling dope. I don't want to be selling dime bags of trees. I'm not interested in getting the jump out boys, doing all of that stuff. And I'll keep it 100 with you. I wasn't even focused on like, oh man, I got to go get good grades or nothing like that. I looked at school and I said, I'm going to do what I have to do in school, but every minute outside of school, I'm going to get that bag. That's when I started spending all of my time in the library. I started reading every investment book I can get my hands on. I started listening to different people. I started paying attention to what was coming instead of what it is. And that's when I started really running it up. Somebody says I wouldn't want to be rich these days. Lord, give me his. He don't want it. Lord, whatever it is that he's saying that he don't want, there's a power of life and death is through the tongue. You really manifest your destiny through the tongue. Whatever it is that they don't want, send it my way. They said that they don't want, they let it come out of their mouth. They typed it. They said it. Let them lose it and I'll take it. They say they don't want to be rich. Give them what they want, God. And make sure that it comes my way. Give them what they want and make sure it comes my way. Manifest their words, but also make sure that it comes over to me. I take that. I take it, God. He said I wouldn't want to be rich these days, maybe in the 80s and the 90s. I take it, God. I know what to do with it. I know what to do with it. If there was any financial blessing that was coming their way, send it over here, God. I got it. More for Anton. More for Anton. I've been a great steward with the resources that you've given me thus far. I've proven myself. I'll take more. Crazy. 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 Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel with turning your notifications. Tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Just dropped the video in the Patreon yesterday. I'll take it. Ian Harold says, all black, everything, power of habit. Thank you, Ian, for supporting me on Cash App. Mike That Dude, what up to Mike That Dude? I appreciate you, Mike That Dude. Thank you, my friend. Spencer Campbell, what up, though? The same person, now he trying to justify it. He says that greed mentality is crazy to me. Listen, you are literally clicked into a show that says the Millionaire Morning Show. Nigga, that's what we do. It all comes back to the money. Why don't you go and talk to the Dusty Morning Show or the regular morning show, or go watch CNN. Go watch somebody else's live in the morning and tell us, watch an unmoney-related live on YouTube. You literally clicked in and subscribe. You subscribe because you're able to talk. You clicked into a show that is called the Millionaire Morning Show. Nigga, every day I talk about money. I wear a rose gold Rolex when I'm talking on the show. What do you think I'm going to talk about? What you want to talk about? You want to talk about being broke? Yeah, go watch The View. And crazy enough, The View, all of them hoes make more money than me. Ain't that crazy? They don't talk about money and they make more money than me. All this greed. Well, nigga, don't subscribe to the Millionaire Morning Show. Starting to question y'all mindset. Harold Burns says, 80, check your P.O. box in Union Lake. I sent you a gift. I'm sure you will love it. Bet. I got you. I'm on it. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you. Justin P in the building says, anytime I'm asked if you could time travel question, I cut it short by saying I'm good where I'm at. Ain't no better time than current times for black people. Facts. We up. Self-Made Forever says Quentin brings up white crime on the after hours for a reason. He can give you the insight on your question. Good show last night. We doing it again tonight. 392Q says, when I was waiting to start my new job, I wasn't waiting around. I was Amazon flexing, door dashing, and doing my side mount TV business until I started. Shout out to 392Q, bro. You got that 392? 392 hit me? All right. Latrell says, I work 90 hours a week. These type of dudes get zero empathy for me. Discipline equals freedom. Shout out to Latrell getting that bag, bro. Dean Murray says, appreciate you sharing your experience. The fact that you did it unscripted and on the spot. Much respect. Isaiah Robinson says, National Guard shoots armed male in Memphis is crazy. Send it to me in my email, and if I got time, I'll go over it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Maddies. For those of you that may not know what a Maddie is a male baddie. Shout out to the male baddies in the building. Yeah. I want to get to this next story. We got to go over to New York City. NYC buildings is collapsing. I seen it actually pop up on my timeline. I thought it would be something worthy of having a conversation about. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
We begin tonight with breaking news. The U.S. launching new strikes on Iran right now, but we begin here with the emergency in New York City. Fears a building could collapse, leading to mass evacuations. At least 9 buildings evacuated, including a school and a hotel where guests were ordered out of their rooms quickly. The images tonight from inside that New York City building, structural supports buckling, discovered by construction crews inside who said windows and concrete were cracking. This photo posted by the fire department showing the building clearly leaning to one side. The area around it tonight just blocks from Grand Central Station, now sealed off. Tonight, authorities say they plan to be on the scene right into the night to try to stabilize the building. Our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky, leading us off from the scene tonight.
Tonight, the race to stabilize a 37-story building in Midtown Manhattan at risk of collapse.
We have columns partially down on 21 and 22. And we have floors sagging between 21 and 26.
ABC News obtaining this dramatic video from inside the East Side high-rise blocks from Grand Central Terminal showing steel support columns bending.
The building remains unstable.
The compromised building appearing to lean.
It appears just by looking at it, the building is leaning. Is the building leaning? The concern is that since we have been on site in the early morning, we have seen continued shift of the structure.
Around 8 a.m., construction workers began noticing a structural column on the 21st floor starting to warp. Then investigators found multiple cracks and the floors beginning to cave.
First they said they were working on the floor, and they started to watch some beams start.
Investigators found multiple cracks and the floors beginning to cave.
First they said...
That's look crazy, bro. That look absolute, bro. You think I'm gonna be up there recording it? I'm gone. I'm gone. I don't know what kind of construction workers or whatever is in these buildings, but these guys have the survival instincts of a worm. These guys have the survival instincts of a worm. Bruh, I'm gone. I'm out. You see the column starting to collapse, I'm out. And so the word out is that they're actually trying to convert this building over in New York City to be a residential building instead of it being, a regular, building that people go in and workers and all of that other type of stuff. And so they're adding onto the building. And the add on to the building wasn't designed for all of the additional additions that is being added on to the building itself. And this is what I recently just looked up. And so as a result, the building itself can't support itself with the additions. And so it's starting to collapse. And that's why they started to evacuate everything in New York City. I'm gone. That starts happening, I'm out.
They were working on the floor, and they started to watch some beams start to bend, windows start to break, some concrete start to crumble.
Authorities evacuated the building and at least 9 others nearby, including a...
What is the people over there sitting there looking for? Yo. I'm asking, who is this? Who? What is this regarding? What is this regarding?
Hotel and school.
Why are the people standing around and looking at this when you can literally lose your life by the building completely collapsing? Every last one of these people have the survival instincts of a worm. Let me ask y'all another question before we continue on with this, right? Why is the instinct like the first thing that people do? Why is the first thing that people do is to pull out their phones? That I don't know. I'm a content creator, and my natural instinct is not to pull out my phone when something happens. That's not my first reaction. That's not my first natural instinct. My first natural instinct is to get out of Dodge or to get myself to safety. I'm not looking to go live from the scene. I'm not looking to record it so that I can post it to social media. I'm not looking to do any of that. If everybody got their phones out at the same time, that means that everybody is recording the same thing. What I post is not going to be any different than what anybody else posts. It's the same thing when it comes to concerts. If I'm just being 100%. When I go to a concert, when I go to a comedy show, when I go to any major event, I never, ever pull out my phone and start recording. Why would I watch it on my skinny device when I can watch it in person? Why would I watch it on this and I'm right there? I'm looking at it right there. If I see 1,000 people with their phone out recording at the same time, what do I think that I'm going to capture that's going to be any different than what anybody else is putting out?
So I walked into the office. I was there for about 10 minutes, and then they were like, all right, everybody out, evacuate, get out now.
Bumper-to-bumper traffic stretching for blocks.
Man, I can't live in New York City, bro. I can't live in New York. I can't live permanently in New York. Even as bad as the taxes is, even as bad as the leadership is, as bad as everything is, look at that traffic, bro. Look at the traffic in New York on one street. And then you know what the worst thing about New York is? It's sinking. Yes, New York is sinking. It is actually sinking.
All workers were accounted for. There are no injuries. It's a very serious situation.
The high-rise, once the headquarters of the pharmaceutical giant Pfizer, is being converted into residential apartments.
What was going on up there is something that I've never seen in my 20 years.
In the last year, the building has logged 7 violations, from unsafe building demolition to debris falling from high heights, resulting in more than $32,000 in fines. In the last several hours, David, they've sealed off the streets here, and a small team of experts has gone floor by floor into that building and determined that the damaged columns are no...
Y'all didn't know that New York City was sinking? Yeah, New York City been sinking for a long time, bro.
Longer moving, so work can begin now to try and shore up the building with emergency trusses. That work's expected to last throughout the night and into the coming days. David?
It is still very alarming. Aaron Katursky leading us off here tonight. Aaron, thank you.
More breaking news. This emergency response is underway this hour in Midtown Manhattan. A 38-story building appears now to be on the verge of collapse. Video shows the building's steel columns buckling. Workers on site say they were, quote, bending like cigarettes.
Cliff Johnson is on the scene. He is a business agent for the Steam Fitters Local 638. He joins us now. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. Probably a little hard to hear us out there, but we understand the situation. Please do give us an update on what we know at this point.
Well, I don't know if I'd be the best one to give you that information, but what I can tell you is this morning I got a phone call from some of my members on site who were working on the project. The beams were bending, concrete was falling. Walls were collapsing, so I cover the east side of Manhattan for Steam Fitters Local 638. So I came over, make sure not only our members, but every construction worker on site was out of the job, and outside and safe and everything. We made sure everybody was outside. So I don't think anyone's going back in this building for a while. This is not something you typically see in New York City. You have one of the best labor forces in the world. So to have a building have steel bending while it's under construction, to me, it's a lack of vetting your contractors. To me, it's a lack of not picking safety over profits.
Wow, that is quite a statement coming from you, Cliff.
Layoffs.
This is Jillian. When you arrived on scene this morning, what was your top tier, most urgent priority?
The most urgent priority is to get every construction worker out of that site. And remove everyone that was in the street, and remove everyone from there, which the NYPD and the FDNY, I mean, Lord knows we're good at it. So they had everything set, caution taped off, evacuating buildings, and everything went as smooth as it could possibly be. So going forward, you just hope that these contractors use reputable construction and responsible construction in the city of New York, so you don't have to put these people's lives, buildings. You know, we're here for the World Cup. You have everyone in the country, and you have New York City under siege over here because it wasn't done correctly. Now, I don't know whether it was an engineer, or it was the installation, or if it was the concrete, or just the building underneath settling. You know, I'm not a structural engineer, but I do know that I-beams aren't supposed to bend in half.
Yeah, that is just, it's crazy to think about. And some of these new pictures,
That
the one we just had
insane,
previously
bro.
up on the screen,
Yeah.
brand new picture provided to us from the FDNY. To your point, Clifford, you just don't see this happen. The mayor of New York City, Mamdani, held a news conference shortly following. He said this on the structure of the building. Listen.
2 structural columns have buckled, in addition to multiple cracks and sagging floors. The building remains unstable. Since arriving on scene, we have witnessed additional movement in one of the compromised columns. First responders and structural engineers are working closely with the project engineer to develop plans to shore up the impacted floor.
So to your point, Clifford, about you just don't see this happen, do you have any theories on why it did?
You know, what I can say is the union labor in New York has built the Trade Center, Hudson Yards, the Empire State Building, Citi Field, Yankee Stadium, all of them. And none of our members or nobody in the union in New York City has ever seen an I-beam bend like that. So you're obviously putting profits before safety, and that's the main concern of everybody that's here right now. We have to do a better job.
Wow. Well, thanks for taking time out and jumping on this call with us, Cliff. We really appreciate it. Stay safe.
Thanks, Clifford.
That's crazy, bro. That is absolutely insane. If you're looking at this picture and you're able to see the TV, you're able to see your mobile device, you're able to see your mobile phone right now, and you see this right here, that is absolutely insane. You can see the actual beam, the structural beams. The structural beams is the thing in the apartment that I have downtown, right? There's these massive columns, super massive columns that run through the entirety of the structure itself. They're building a JW Marriott literally next door that's going to connect over to the, we used to call it Cobo Hall, but Huntington Center. And it's a convention bridge that builds up. You can see them pouring the actual beams themselves. If one of those beams was to, in any way, shape, or form, buckle, collapse, look like it's about to come down. What up, big dog? Thank you, man. I appreciate you, bro. Okay, that's cool. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, man. You want to advertise? I'm on the live right now.
Oh, you is?
Yeah.
That's so funny,
man. I keep telling them how we met and what you was driving and shit when we first met, and that you had that fly ass car.
Okay. Well, yeah. Anybody that need a detail, they can check me out at Aqua Mobile Spa on Instagram. Also, my website is aquamobilespa.com. You can click the link in the bio on the Instagram page and book online and check out all the packages.
Aqua Mobile Spa.
Yes, sir.
Aqua Mobile Spa.
For sure.
All right. Thank you, bro.
My brother.
Thank you, man.
I see you, man.
All right,
For sure.
All right, y'all. Y'all ready? Let me read some of these super chats. Thank you, bro. All right, big dog. Let me see what we talking about out in these streets. Oh, let me close this out real quick. We're gonna go over to Chicago next. I got you. I'm gonna put everything inside of the description of the video once we end the stream. Dope. Running it up. Aqua Mobile Spa. All right. Here in Michigan. He dope. Real talk. Let me see what's happening in the street. Shout out to more than 2,000 of y'all inside of the chat right now. Running it up. Let me see what's happening. Super chats. Oh, we got after hours tonight. Make sure y'all join the Patreon. I dropped the video on the Patreon yesterday. Darren says you can lead a horse to water, but you can never make them drink, but you can salt their oats and make them thirsty. Facts. West Coast Pressure in the building says, I'm a mobile pet groomer and I have my own water too. Run it up. Get that bag, big dog. It's the Shy Guy says New York, New Orleans, and Miami, to name a few, will be underwater in 100 years. That's true. That is absolutely true. You are 100% right. Elevate to the what up? Elevate to the unknown says NYC is beautiful, but heck no, I could not live there. I'd be in NYC and out there like Flash, out of there like the Flash. I'm about to go to New York. I'm gonna come to New York after I do the meetup. I'm gonna start dipping in and out of people's cities, and I'm gonna start doing these little mini meets. All right, is this what free rent looks like? Chris Cunningham says, what is Chinese steel for facts? That's a fact too. Yep. Daily Griff says, hey, by the way, Anton, 70 judges up for re-election in Chicago. I'm from Chicago and it's so violent, but approximately 70 judges up for re-election. Yeah. They need to get every last one of them judges up out of there. It started to buckle. It didn't collapse. It started to buckle. All right, y'all. We got to go over to Chicago for a second. We got to talk. Now, you know I'm going to rub it in y'all face, right? Before we even get to the problems in Chicago financially, I want to talk about, because everybody keeps saying, no, it's a lot of crime still happening in Chicago. Let me give y'all some insight.
Mayor Brandon Johnson says there is a budget trouble ahead with the city halfway through its fiscal year. WGN political editor Tamon Bradley has the latest from City Hall.
Hello from City Hall. Today, a warning from Mayor Johnson about the 2026 budget. It's $130 million short. The mayor pins the underperformance on revenue passed by his city council opponents. Remember, city council rejected Mayor Johnson's progressive revenue, such as a corporate head tax, in favor of an alternative budget. That plan took effect without the mayor signing it. At the time, the mayor warned the budget was not balanced. And here we are at the midway point in the budget year, and the mayor points to poor performance from advertising and debt sale. Mayor Johnson says these revenue measures have generated no revenue, none. So the city faces a $130 million hole. Here's the mayor's view of the situation.
Last December, we warned that some of those revenue sources would not perform as the caucus members or city council members that were more aligned with the interests of corporations. Now, halfway through the year, we are seeing those warnings come to fruition. Gaps have emerged due to the regressive revenue options that members of the city council that were more aligned with corporate interests put forward.
Mayor Johnson's opponents accuse him of not aggressively implementing the budget. On another front, Campaign 2027. In 3 weeks, petition signatures can begin to circulate, and more people are lining up to take a crack at trying to win Mayor Johnson's job. The mayor continues to dance around questions about whether or not he'll seek re-election. Here's the latest of what he had to say today.
I believe at some point, I'll get a chance to have a deeper conversation with my wife and those who are closest to me. But in the meantime, what matters most in this moment is ensuring that every single young person gets an opportunity to work this summer.
To shore up city finances, Mayor Johnson says he'll continue to push for progressive revenue. He's already had conversations with House Speaker Emanuel Chris Welch about again trying for a millionaire's tax. Reporting from City Hall, Tamon Bradley.
What did I say to y'all yesterday? What did I say to y'all yesterday and the day before and the week before and this before and that before and all of this other stuff? How I broke, maybe I should even pull it up for you guys. I broke it down for you guys and I tried to explain to you guys. That was yesterday. That was literally yesterday. Yesterday I broke it down and I said, listen, the way that these cities are being managed, and I use New York and I use Chicago as an example, and I said they are projecting revenue, and when they pass these budgets and you combine it with the fact that they have these debt payments and they're underfunded and the people are going to be the ones that pay for it. I literally had people in the chat that was like trying to debate me and trying to tell me that no. I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about when it comes to money. You cannot You can't finesse the numbers. Bro, listen, let me tell you something. Y'all know, remember when when they was talking about in this movie called The Big Short, and everybody was like, no, nope, you're wrong. Nope, that's not gonna happen. No, they was talking about it, and a dude that was actually betting against the housing market, he ran the numbers, he looked at it, and he said, listen, the housing market is going to collapse very soon. I'm going to take out all of this money and bet against the housing market. And the banks was happy to take the money and charge them the fees. And he created an environment that basically highlighted how and allowed for him to capitalize off of the fact that the housing market was going to collapse. And everybody called him stupid until he was right. Then Michael Burry, shout out to you. Michael Burry. Go read the book. I got the book in there. It's called The Big Short. Right? If there's a way for me to bet against cities like Chicago, Los Angeles, and then take a longer term bet, I'm gonna research it because I'm actually gonna, if I'm able to figure out a way to bet against these cities, I am. If there is a way for me to bet against cities and them becoming successful, but instead actually, because I'm not even the type of person that likes to, I like to invest in companies that I think is going to be successful. I don't short companies. If there's a way for me to short cities, I would do it 10 times out of 10. I would do it tomorrow. I would dollar cost average shorting cities like Chicago. I can short cities. Somebody tell me how I can short cities. I need to know how I can short a city. California is in a budget deficit also. The state is in a budget deficit. Hey, is there a way for me to bet against cities? Like, for example, I know that Chicago is having a budget deficit, but they take out a lot of debt in order to pay their bills, and they're having a shortfall of revenue come into the city. And is there a way for me to be able to short a city or to bet against a city and their finances as they travel towards bankruptcy?
That's a really sharp financial question. Generally, betting against the city's finances involves municipal bonds and instruments like credit default swaps, or by shorting municipal bond ETFs. However, these strategies can be highly complex and carry significant risks, often requiring specific qualifications or access to certain markets. Are you exploring these options as part of an investment strategy, or just curious about the mechanisms?
Well, I'm familiar with credit default swaps when it came to the housing market, especially the collapse in 2008. Is this a market that needs to be built up that doesn't exist, or is this something that already exists?
It's a market that already exists, but it operates differently than the one from mortgage-backed securities did back in 2008. While you can find credit default swaps on municipal debt, the market is much less liquid and active than it used to be, especially after regulatory reforms were put in place following the financial crisis. It's not as easy to enter these positions as it was for other asset classes back then.
So how can I enter these positions? What's the steps to do so?
Entering into these positions is quite difficult for individual retail investors because the municipal bond CDS market is an over-the-counter market mainly used by institutional players. To get started, you would need to work with a major financial institution or prime broker, have a significant amount of capital, and likely sign an International Swaps and Derivatives Association master agreement. Because of these high barriers, it's generally not accessible to the general public.
It sounds like they're not making this accessible to the general public, and it's not necessarily because you need to be an institutional investor with a lot of capital. It sounds like they're trying to protect the cities themselves from being bet against so that it doesn't actually get out that the cities are in dire financial straits.
You've hit on a very real concern regarding market stability and the potential for panic. While the regulations are primarily designed to prevent systemic risk and protect the integrity of the financial system, the effect can certainly be to limit transparency about a city's financial health. This lack of open access can make it harder for the public to gauge the true fiscal condition of certain municipalities. Do you think this contributes to a lack of accountability in local governance?
It absolutely contributes to a lack of accountability in local governance. And they're trying to cover up or not make the citizens as concerned. And that's the reason why institutional investors are the only ones, I believe, that can profit off of the lack of financial transparency and also the mismanagement of city funds, as well as the idea that they don't have a real way outside of taxing the people more money in order to even have a real budget to where they can balance. But at the same time, their debt is going up, their credit rating is going down, for example, in places like Chicago. And so what I'm trying to understand is, how can you invest in it as a retail investor instead of an institutional investor? And how much capital do you need in order to do so?
As a retail investor, you might find it difficult to directly short individual municipal bonds using credit default swaps. However, a more accessible option is to look at municipal bond ETFs that track the sector, or even inverse municipal bond ETFs designed to profit when the market declines. The capital required for these can be much lower, as you can buy shares through a standard brokerage account just like you would with stocks. Does that sound like an approach you'd want to look into further?
Yes. What kind of ETFs? Let me mute this really quickly. What kind of So this is I know it's no sound. I muted myself on purpose. Because I'm gonna do a little bit more research, and I think this is something that we can probably explore inside of the Patreon. So I'm gonna talk about it more at length in the Patreon, but I'm not gonna talk about it based off of speculation. I need to really understand it myself. And so give me a few days. Give me like 3 or 4 days to deep dive into it. And then I'm going to really start to get into the conversation, because I truly believe in my core. The numbers don't make sense. And I've been telling y'all this, and I've been absolutely trying to convince y'all, especially the residences in Chicago, because you guys are going to be the ones that are the most affected. You guys are going to be the ones that are the most affected by the mismanagement. The reason why Brandon Johnson will not commit to running for mayor is not because he don't think that he can win it or he wouldn't be willing to compete to win it. It's because he understands the financial dire and the straits that come along with the city, and nobody wants the city to collapse on their watch. Nobody wants the cities to collapse on their watch. Bro, when everything shakes out, unfortunately, you're going to call me a genius for being the one and only person on YouTube that is highlighting that Chicago is going to be, y'all gonna come back and you're gonna say, you know what? This is why I'm subscribed to the Millionaire Morning Show. This is why I'm in the Patreon, because Anton caught this years ago. He said that this was going to happen. He predicted when it was going to happen. He told you that the budget was messed up. He explained to you why the numbers is not what the numbers is supposed to be. And let me tell you what's really happening. Let me tell y'all what's happening. They're trying not, this is all public information. This is not anything that's hidden. But we're not interested and the true understanding of what it takes that's happening to our cities on a political spectrum. We're being distracted by racist conversations. We're being distracted by stuff that's happening overseas. And I've told y'all that the most important thing that you can do is to understand, get involved, and participate in local elections. Local elections. Everybody keeps on being distracted and you keep on focusing on things that don't matter. When it comes to the value of your home, when it comes to your property taxes, when it comes to your schools, when it comes to the well-being of your children, this is going to be so catastrophic for so many different people. And I'm trying to tell you, I've been trying to warn you, I've been trying to bring y'all to the front of the congregation. I've explained it at length. I've gone through hours and hours, and they know, but they're not bringing visibility to it. They know. And you know what the interesting part about that is that not only do they know, I truly believe in my core that they're setting themselves up to profit from it. They're going to get it on both ends. They're going to get it on the front end as they drive you into bankruptcy, and then they're going to get paid on the back end as you file for bankruptcy, and they're going to wipe the city clean, and they're going to take over everything. You want to know what real wealth look like? It's understanding what's going to happen before it happens and putting yourself in a position to capitalize as a result of it. I'm telling you. They going to get it on both sides. And you going to be the one to pay for it. And then they going to pit y'all against each other. And y'all going to say Democrat versus Republican. They're running the city into the ground and they're going to profit from you not understanding and you not paying attention to what's going on. Everybody at the Chris Brown concert, ain't nobody at the city council meeting. Ain't nobody looking at the budgets except for me. Why am I the only person that's paying attention to the budgets? Why am I the only person that's paying attention to the city's budgets? Why am I the only person that's pulling FOIA's Freedom of Information Acts to understand the deeper dive as to where y'all money is really going? Because they only give y'all a general overview. I'm going to go to the actual conference itself.
Are in stable condition. I'm praying for their full recovery, and we are keeping their loved ones mid-year budget report so that the public can see and better understand where we stand financially. I do want to talk through the report, and I want to make sure that we speak in a very direct and a blunt way. Last year, during a very difficult budget cycle, our administration held the line against austerity.
First thing they're going to do, and this is how you know that Chicago is in dire straits, is they're passing blame. They're not just going to come out and tell you the numbers. They're not going to just come out and say, hey, listen, not only did we have a $1.6 billion budget deficit, but our projections are even worse. I told you that the projections are going to be even worse, even worse. Even worse. It's going to get worse. I told you that this was going to happen.
And proposed a budget built on structural progressive revenue. We challenged those at the top and those who benefit the most from our economy to finally pay their fair share so that we can continue to invest in the needs of working people.
So now they're going to blame it on rich people, and they're going to say, and we told you we needed to take more from rich people so that we can shore up the budget.
That approach was not just my call. It came directly from what we heard from residents across the city during our budget engagements. It was also reinforced by the findings of the Chicago Financial Future Task Force. We also know that credit rating agencies have consistently raised concerns about relying too heavily on speculative or one-time funding sources.
Because the credit agencies is doing the same thing that they do to you. When you go to apply for a car, let me deep dive even further. When you go to apply for an expensive car, they don't just look at, oh man, what's your credit rating? You know what they do? They look at your ability to be able to pay off the car in full. They want to see your bank accounts. They want to see your tax returns. They want to see how you make your money, where your income is coming from. the bank statements. The bank statement shows that you consistently bring in X amount of dollars because they're not just going to give it to you. They want to justify that you actually a person that is of your worth and you're not just coming in saying, I got a 740 credit score. No, they want to know that you actually making money. So when the credit rating agencies go in and they look at the city's finances of every city, including Chicago, they say, hey, we downgrading you not just because you can't pay your bills, but because where you're projecting revenue growth or where you're projecting for money to come into the city, we don't see it. We don't see it.
And these are certainly risks that manifest as a result of that propensity. Our goal was to build something stronger, more stable, and more honest for the long term. But
Patreon on Thursday,
Zeroids.
Thursday is the Patreon live stream.
And adopted their so-called alternative budget. And throughout that process, we raised concerns about the assumptions in that plan, not to oppose for the sake of opposing, but because Chicagoans deserve honesty about the risks of budgets that rely on fines and fees. Last December, we warned that some of those revenue sources would not perform as the caucus members or city council members that were more aligned with the interests of corporations. Now, halfway through the year, we are seeing those warnings come to fruition. Gaps have emerged due to the regressive revenue options that members of the city council that were more aligned with corporate interests put forward. Their incomplete and inconsistent assumptions have been unfounded. Their plan involved selling Chicagoans' outstanding debt to a private buyer. In response, I signed an executive order making clear that the medical debt of vulnerable Chicagoans would not be for sale. Despite my objections, my finance team has worked diligently to facilitate the possible sale of the city's vehicular debt. To date, no buyer has been identified. So the ability to move forward with a sale without an actual buyer, it's unfortunate this proposed revenue source has been determined to be unfeasible and unworkable.
They're trying to sell debt, y'all. Chicago don't have nothing else to sell. They sold their streets. They sold you out. They trying to sell y'all medical debt. They're trying to sell their vehicular debt. Chicago is trying to sell debt at pennies on the dollar. You know what that's going to result in, even if they are able to do that? First of all, private lenders don't want to buy the debt because they don't believe that they're going to get a return on their investment, right? The second thing about that is if they do or if they are able to sell the debt, then that means that it's going to cost Chicago more. So they're looking for one-time fixes to solve for a cash crunch because they don't know where the money going to come from. They don't have no money. Chicago don't have no money. This is crazy. Chicago don't have no money. According to the Chicago Tribune, the city's unassigned, unallocated operating cash balance sits at a negative $52 million. This is insane, bro. This is crazy. I'm not making this up. I'm telling you it. The city's unassigned, unallocated operating cash balance sits at a negative $52 million. Chicago broke. They're broke. And this is including Mayor Brandon Johnson recently announcing that the city is heading into the second half of 2026 facing a $130 million budget shortfall. Oh my God, bro. This is absolutely crazy. I cannot believe what I am looking at and what I am paying attention to right now. And the people deserve it. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. The people deserve it. The people in Chicago deserves what they are experiencing right now because you voted for it. You voted for it. Yes, we did talk about this 2 years ago. Yes, we did talk about this 2 years. We talked about it 3 years ago. We talked about it 3 years ago. Los Angeles is next. I told y'all, Los Angeles is next. It's going to be a wave. And I said it. I said the housing, people keep talking about housing. It ain't going to be the house. The housing is not the thing that's going to collapse. It's the cities. The cities are going to be the thing. It's going to be the next big collapse. I promise you, I'm warning you, the cities are going to be filing for bankruptcy one after another, after another, after another, after another. It's unsustainable. It is 100% unsustainable.
It's been determined to be unfeasible and unworkable. The interests of corporations projected that sinking debt collection on working Chicagoans would generate roughly $90 million in revenue. It has generated zero. Their proposal to raise revenue through augmented reality and advertising on bridges and light poles have yet to raise a single dollar. Since the budget was adopted,
look how grim he is while he's talking about this.
Administration has worked diligently to implement it. We have a responsibility to make the budget work and to protect the services Chicagoans rely on.
This is what y'all get for voting for a school teacher.
But halfway through the year, we also have a responsibility to be honest about where we actually are.
Now watch this. You're watching me talk about this. I've been talking about this for years. Watch how many people show up. Content creators, other platforms. Watch how many of them come up and show up and act like they just discovered it themselves. Nope. They lean on people like me to get the insight. And then they go on their platforms and they act like, oh my God, look at what I just discovered. Look at what it is that I just figured out. It just fell into my lap. I'm really coming to the conclusion and I'm going to predict that this is going to happen to these cities. No. Give me my credit. Give me my credit. Hello. Yes, what's happening? What 4 things are they trying to get? Just get the filters. Just get it all. Just get it all done. Just get everything done. Bye. It's going to be a bunch of people that pull up and they going to act like that they didn't figure this out and this is new discovery and all of this stuff. And they not doing their own work. I've been doing my own work. I've been deep diving into the numbers. I've been looking into the documents. I've been talking to people in his office. I've been talking to the police officers. I'm tapped in group chats. Yes, I've been doing the leg work.
When combined with other proposals included in the alternative budget that have yet to achieve any revenue, our 2026 budget is at risk of being short more than $130 million in revenue. I want to say this clearly. There were other options. We did not need to cede to
there
big money.
Were. They don't have no solutions, y'all. They don't have no solutions, chat. Chat. They don't have no solutions.
The interests and fall back on the tired practice of balancing budgets on the backs of working people. The corporate head tax, which was projected to bring in $100 million, would have prevented this shortfall. That was structural revenue that could have stabilized our finances. Meanwhile, the progressive revenue sources that my administration has championed and implemented
He wants to try to take some credit and not take the credit for the fall.
Aren't just working, they are exceeding expectations.
They'll never do an interview with
The
Anton.
personal property lease tax is performing well at 11% over original projections, bringing in $402 million. And that's just through May of this year. Online sports betting is coming in strong, about 69% above projections, bringing in roughly $14.8 million so far this year. And our groundbreaking smart tax.
Tax people. Tax. Y'all want to know why the cost of living is going up? It's because taxes.
On the largest social media and big tech companies is also performing above forecast.
Until these companies leave Chicago, and they are running from Chicago ASAP. I love you too. I love you too. I love you too, Carla.
Up about 25% with around $16.1 million in revenue to date. These are the kind of innovative, progressive revenue tools that we have been pushing for, and we are not surprised that they are bearing fruit. At the same time, we've stayed disciplined as we carry out operations across departments. We've implemented efficiencies, managed resources responsibly, and continue to protect and expand the services that people count on every single day. So, what we are seeing in the middle of the year is pretty straightforward. When we collect revenue that is stable, fair, and doesn't place the burden on working families, that budget works. When we shy away from asking the wealthiest to pay their fair share and instead seek to collect more from working Chicagoans, that approach does not work. And that has real consequences for this year and how we plan for the future. As we look ahead to the fiscal year 2027, we need to be clear-eyed about that. We need a budget that reflects what is actually working in this city. One that asks those who can afford it to pay their fair share, and one that invests in working families and neighborhoods across our beloved city. And I want to end where I started, with people and not just numbers. We are proud that over 27,000 young people have been placed in summer jobs through the Chicago Youth Works program thus far. This past week, I had the chance to see young people in action, whether it was at Brighton Park Neighborhood Council Community Fiesta or at one of our Chicago Park District locations.
We don't want to hear that nonsense. Let me tell you what I'm looking at. According to WTTT News, Chicago, and several different agencies, Chicago is facing a projected budget deficit of nearly $1 billion in 2027 also. Municipal forecasts have projected a gap to exceed $1 billion, right? The 2027 shortfall this is next year, is driven by expiring federal pandemic-era funds, rising labor and operational costs, and persistent pension obligations. The administration of Mayor Brandon Johnson is expected to release its formal 2027 budget forecast by August, late August, which will outline official strategies to close the funding gap. Additionally, other regional bodies are battling simultaneous shortfalls with Chicago Public Schools, and this is 2027. Remember last year it was $734 million. I remember the exact number was $734 million. The public schools, separate from the city, was facing a budget deficit. Chicago Public Schools is facing a projected $732.5 million deficit for the upcoming 2026-2027 school year in Cook County, separate from the schools, separate from the city. The county is projecting a $550 million deficit for 2027. Y'all cooked. Don't ask for nothing. Don't ask for nothing. Don't ask for no police. Don't ask for no parks. Don't ask for nothing. Don't ask for reparations. Don't ask for lower property taxes. Don't ask for a reduction in crime. Don't ask for nothing. Nothing. Nothing at all. You know, the last time that I heard a person talk like this was right before Detroit filed for bankruptcy. The last time that I heard somebody speak like this was when Detroit filed for bankruptcy. They don't have no money. They don't have no money. They don't have no money. They broke. The schools is broke. The county is broke. The city is broke. Everybody broke. And the property taxes is high. And businesses are leaving. The Magnificent Mile, the Mag Mile has a 30% vacancy rate. They put a freeze on city employees and police officers. Have y'all ever seen Brandon Johnson talk this lowly and humbly? And the beautiful thing about America is that people can leave and go where they want to go, and that's exactly where rich people and corporations are going in Chicago. Somebody says, I don't think the state will let Chicago file for bankruptcy. They don't have no choice. What do you mean you don't think the state is going to let them? The state, Chicago begged the state every single day. Hey, man, can we get an extra $1 billion? They literally going, and him and J.B. Pritzker, hey, can we get another $1 billion? Can we get another $1 billion? And you know what Illinois say? No. I can give you this deal. That's what Illinois say. I can give you this deal. They don't even like each other. Brandon Johnson and J.B. Pritzker don't even like each other. They still arguing over who gonna lose the Chicago Bears. They don't even like each other.
It is clear that our investments are working and they are worthy. That is more than 27,000 young people earning an income, gaining important experience, and learning to look at where I've made those critical investments in labor. The people who actually live in the city of Chicago.
And then he got a nerve to go and put on an Obama suit. The nerve of you putting on Obama suit. Hey, Obama, Brandon, is that my tan suit? Is that my brown suit? Boy, you're really doing it, huh, Brandon? Got the nerve to go and put on Obama's suit right after that. You disrespectful, ungrateful, lowly worker that's not doing your job. You are so evil. You think that you can put on my suit and that you can invoke the spirit of Obama in 2008 with hope? How dare you? How dare you try to project some form of hope over the city of Chicago by putting on my suit? Take my suit off. Take my suit off. See if he got anything else he want to say to the people of Chicago.
Are the ones who are benefiting, of course, the most from those investments.
As a follow-up, sir, in 21 days, petition signatures for the municipal contest begin to circulate. October 19th is the deadline. Where are you in making up your mind about running for re-election?
Well, I mean, look, I know that a lot of folks are paying attention to, campaigns and elections. The one in November, I believe, is the one that matters significantly. When you look at what's happening at the federal level, without control over the House and Senate, the Trump administration has.
We can't have a press conference without mentioning Trump.
Has had a devastating impact on cities across America. Work with City Council. Obviously, we did push hard for progressive revenue at the state level, of which we were able to secure some of that as well. That our focus has to be multifaceted. That's my approach here. I'm working hard to avoid layoffs and cutting services, especially at a time in which we've seen,
layoffs is coming. If you are a city worker and you work for the city of Chicago, gird up. Gird up. If you are a city worker in Chicago and you think that you think you could survive this, hey, hoy, they think that they can survive Chicago's politicians. Hey, hoy, they think that they can survive in Chicago. You think you gonna survive this? Oh, I got another thing coming for you, buddy. Yo, I might need to get security the way that I'm cooking these politicians and that I'm predicting what they're going to do before they do it. I might have to get security before I start to get in trouble.
100-year storms happen on a more regular basis. City services are so critical to keeping communities safe and thriving. So I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that we're able to close this gap. And look, it's really a call to action for.
They asked him if he was going to try to run for mayor again. He's diverting.
The people of Chicago. We had a pathway that would have avoided this. Had City Council accepted the $100 million from the top corporate earners in terms of corporations in the city, we wouldn't be in this predicament right now. So hopefully it's a lesson learned by certain members of City Council because these challenges won't disappear in one budget. When we think about the long-term sustainability of our economy, what I've put forward has produced the type of dividends that I anticipated. What they have put forward has literally produced the type of shortfall that we're experiencing today.
I know you talked about this at the time, but do you still feel it was a smart move not to veto this budget, knowing that the budget office at the time saw this type of shortfall potentially happening?
The smart move was to actually put forth the budget that would put
Chicago. You up next. I got my eye on you, Chicago. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. I'm about to cover this Nolan Wells conversation in a second before we go to break. So for those of y'all that are new here, make sure you subscribe. If you're not a part of the Patreon, we get money and we doing a meetup on the 25th in DC. I need y'all to let me know if y'all going to the meetup by responding to it inside of the Patreon. And I just dropped a video inside of the Patreon today. In addition to that, we're going to be live streaming on Friday. All right? Friday is when we live streaming. I dropped the video. No, Thursday, not Friday. Thursday, we're going to be doing a live stream on the Patreon. I'm heartbroken and I'm excited at the fact that people are getting what they voted for. I'm heartbroken. I am. I'm truly heartbroken. We're going to go cover Nolan Wells, and then we're going to figure out what we're going to play for the break. We take a 10-minute break, 6 to 10-minute break, music break, and then we come back and we start really getting into the money. Trey Day says, hey, my job putting cameras in our trucks. No sound, no. Just help us drive better. What do you think? You ain't got a really choice. But if you're not doing nothing that you're not supposed to do, then you ain't got nothing to worry about. Now, if you riding with a little baddie next to you and she over there giving you some neck, then you might have to switch up. Look like y'all gonna have to get it to it. Mistall Mistall says you should do one for San Antonio. We have a $150 million deficit. The same mayor was trying to ban Kanye from coming to the city for a concert. San Antonio, huh? Let me put that on the docket. Don't worry. Coming to a city near you, I'm going to predict all of the cities that's going to file for bankruptcy. We're going to come to a city near you. We own it. We own it. Let's see. TS Car Wash and Detail Service says, thoughts on Will Cain and Stephen A. Smith debate about the Lakers white team not winning nothing as a racist take, say Will Cain. Check it out. I'm going to email to you. Send it to me on my email right now. I'll check it out. Purple Haze says, copy this into Google. Can you bet on how well cities do financially with Kalshi? All right. I don't want to promote gambling platforms, but Shaq Diesel says, AD, Lionel Messi is the GOAT. Yeah, I seen what he did. Yesterday, Argentina was down 2-0 in the second half and came back to score 3 goals in 11 minutes left in the match. Yep, they was going crazy at all of the bars, watching all of the World Cups. I thought you meant bet, not the investment way. Got to take advantage of Chicago. Wesley Turner says, Kalshi, you can bet against anything on that. Leo Girl says, you're spitting facts on Chicago. I'm from there, left a long time ago. Trying to desperately get my family out, but they don't want to leave. On a separate note, I need that coaching call. Love. Leo Girl. I got you, baby. I got you, baby. I got you. Mama. What up, Ma? Says, what up, AD? AD for mayor. Check out your IG. Check your IG, my love. All right, bet. I got you. Eli Saul says, New York City and Boston are next to collapse. New York will be last. They got too much money that they got coming in. Keon Bell says, Johnson saying that dang AD said that would happen. They don't want to come to the front of the congregation. April L says, about that coaching call, Anton, I got you, April, and you gorgeous too. You so pretty. Wade Report says, as soon as those layoffs happen, I'll be on the Daily Climb show talking about who's been laid off and why. Layoff content is what people want. Wale Belly. You want to hear Wale Belly? Email sent. Bet. I like Wale. What you think about Nicki taking a pic with Jeff Landry? I haven't seen it. Haven't seen it. Nicki Minaj? Haven't seen it. Let's dig into this Nolan Wells conversation that is happening across social media. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel with turning your notifications. Nolan Wells.
This morning, an urgent investigation to determine how 18-year-old Nolan Wells died on a boating trip with friends off the Mississippi Gulf Coast. As they await the results of the official autopsy, the Jackson County Sheriff's Office wants to hear from anyone who was on Horn Island over the 4th of July weekend.
I would urge anyone that had information or was on the island to let us interview you and take down as much information as we can to really piece together and figure out what may have happened.
Authorities say Wells' friends left the island and he stayed behind and was supposed to take a different boat back to the mainland Saturday, but never did.
My antennas are up. No, bruh. You're not going to lie to me. According to authorities, Wells' friends left the island and he stayed behind. Now, why would somebody stay behind on an island by themselves? Because the only logical reason that I can think of that somebody would stay behind on an island by themselves is if they got them a baddie. That's the first red flag. Red flag on the play. I don't believe it.
Saturday, but never did. After a desperate search, Wells' body was found off the shore Monday. Investigators say they have no information at this time to indicate a crime was committed. And this morning, for the first time, we're seeing and hearing from Wells, who spoke with our affiliate WLOX on the day he signed to play college football.
It's truly a blessing, just being here with some of my best friends, teammates, and we're all going to college together, most of us, so it's just truly a blessing to be here.
His high school coach saying Wells was much more than an outstanding football player and that he carried himself with humility, treated others with respect, worked hard, and led by example. The teenager's emotional family, desperate for answers, they've hired civil rights attorney.
Oh, here we go, bro. This is why. So I was trying to figure out what the angle was, right? I'm trying to figure out why are they saying Anton, why you don't want to talk about this or whatever, so on and so forth. And so usually when people come to me and they say, Anton, why don't you address this? Why don't you talk about this? 9 times out of 10, 100 times out of 100, it is a racial conversation. It's a race-based conversation every single time, 100%. So here's the question that I'm asking myself. Because the minute that I see him, I already know civil rights attorney, Ben Crump, race-based conversation. It's the only things that they ever talk about. It's the only thing that they ever get involved in. My antennas went up because I'm like, oh, no, I don't trust the friends, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I know now that his friends must have been white. The friends that he went to the island with, had to be white. They don't take cases unless it's against white people. They don't take cases. A civil rights attorney it's the Al Sharpton effect every time. So let me guess. I'm like 99.9% sure that D.L. Hughley probably addressed this also, right? D.L. Hughley, listen, no worries about Chicago going broke. We don't necessarily care about everything that's happening with our finances, resources. We don't care about stuff that's affecting us on a daily basis. This will probably be the conversation to talk on social media for the next 3 weeks. All right, cool. So now I know what type of content I can expect to be reacting to this weekend. Now I know. I'm pretty sure. If I look it up, I'm going to look it up after I go through this. I'm almost 1,000% sure that D.L. Hughley, who y'all say, Roland Martin, Al Sharpton, Jasmine Crockett, who else? What was the name of that podcast with Angela Rye, Charlemagne the God? I'm pretty sure that they're all throwing their hat right in there because there's no better way to monetize than to lean into the whole racial narrative. I haven't even heard the rest of the story yet.
And Crump, who says his team will conduct an independent investigation.
And the family's new attorney, Ben Crump, says he will fight for the timely release of any records and witness accounts in this case. Nolan Wells would have turned 19 next month. Guys.
Family just wants some answers here, Alex. Yeah. Thank you for staying on this for us. We really appreciate it.
This morning, the desperate search for answers in Mississippi after the death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells. Authorities recovering a body believed to be the teen.
Yeah, Don Lemon, too, with his husband.
Investigators and volunteers from the Cajun Navy spent the weekend urgently searching for Wells after he vanished from Horn Island on July 4th.
Nolan Wells was on a boat. He left from a private dock area in the Ocean Springs area and proceeded with his friends to Horn Island.
Wells was visiting the barrier island 10 miles from the Gulf Coast, boating with friends, last seen about 3 p.m. Saturday.
They left and went back without Nolan. From what we understand, he chose to stay there.
Later that night, when he didn't return home, his mother reporting him missing to police, then quickly taking to social media, posting pictures of the teen, pleading for help finding him. The heartbreaking discovery made about 8:45 Monday morning when authorities say the Mississippi Community College wide receiver's suspected body was found in the water just off the shore. His mother writing, "His father, our family, friends, and I are absolutely devastated," describing Wells as a sweet son who was always willing to cheer and uplift others. Now, investigators say they suspect he drowned, but they're still interviewing friends who were with him as they work to pinpoint what exactly happened.
That's why we're still asking for information if anybody has anything, any knowledge.
And that information, the sheriff says, will help them paint a better picture of what happened to Nolan in the moments before his death. A toxicology report from the coroner's office is still pending.
So let's just keep it 100, because the first thing that I'm going to do is the first thing that I always do. And I say this every single time. I say that you have to wait for the evidence to reveal itself, because people are going to take one side and a bunch of other people are going to take another side. And then the blackety blacks are going to get mad at the conservatives, and they're going to say, why aren't you demonizing white people? Because usually what happens is that the insight or the information or the toxicology reports or whatever, right? Whatever investigation that they do usually shows the how they died, what happened, and then you can start to lean into it. Then that means that they can start to pull the phone reports, they can start to pull the text messages, they can start to find out what happened, right? But what people are going to want people to do is to jump off the bridge and immediately lean into the race-based part of the conversation, because it's the popular thing to do. It's white people against black people, and they're going to say you can't trust white people, you shouldn't have been hanging out with them. Now, let me be honest about what I think, which is weird, right? The one thing that I think is very weird is anytime I hear about a drowning or something like that, I automatically suspect foul play. I automatically suspect foul play. Anytime a body wash up, I automatically suspect foul play. I, in no way, shape, or form, in my limited opinion, because I don't have anything to go off of outside of the news reporting that his body washed up and he was with friends, and they're saying that he said that he was going to take a different boat. Red flag, red flag, red flag on the play. And I suspect, if I had to guess, if you said, Anton, you got to put $100,000 on what you think happened, I think that he was killed. 100% foul play. Do I think that he was killed because he was black? I'm not going to go that far, because I don't want to stoke the race part of the conversation. We got to find out. But I wouldn't be surprised if he was killed and they dumped his body and everybody trying to keep a secret, right? This sounds just like those movies where everybody's saying, oh man, nobody better not say nothing, don't nobody snitch. And then everybody come together years later and somebody can't live with it and their life is absolutely in shambles because they don't, and somebody comes out later and actually tells the truth about what happened. This sounds like that. The whole group left. Nobody stayed with him. He had no reason to stay behind. Nobody said anything. Get the hell out of here, bro. Get the hell out of here, man. So the only way that they was able to discover, and this is the red flag right here. The only way that they're able to discover that he was missing was because he didn't return home. You telling me that you got all of these homies, all of these people that you went out with, nobody checked on you, nobody hit you on the phone, nobody said, hey man, you good, bro? Oh no, bro, we supposed to stay together. No girl that you was messing with was like, hey babe, what's going on? Nobody checked on you. The only way that you found out was that his parents said he didn't come home, and so they had to put out Facebook posts, and none of the friends, none of the people that was with him, nobody said nothing. Nonsense. Nonsense. That don't happen. That don't happen at all. That is not how it plays out in real life. Somebody somewhere would say something. Somebody is checking on you. If y'all was cool enough to go boating together, that means that y'all was communicating outside of school and all of that type of stuff, and nobody checked on you, nobody tripped out, nobody posted nothing on social media, nobody said, hey, where's my friend at? Everybody just quiet and everybody probably lawyered up. Nah, get the hell out of here, bro. Get the hell out of here, bro. Red flag on the play. Somebody says you wrong, AD, they had his phone. Who had his phone? I don't know who had whose phone. Oh, bro, I'm discovering it and I'm learning, and I'm not going to take y'all word for it. I need evidence. because I don't do rumors. Rumors be lies. People make stuff up and they say a bunch of stuff. I want people to actually give me an official source, official report of what happened so that we not out here making bad, saying stuff is facts. And I don't know what happened. But what I do know is that everything about this is fishy. Everything about this sound crazy. And as I'm learning, the same way that I'm discovering it with the Cyrus Carmack, the same way that I discover everything else, as I learn the information, that I know what you did last summer, it sounds just like it. Sounds just like it. I need to know what happened, bro. I need to know what happened. So I'm not going to assume. I'm going to take it day by day, information by information, fact by fact, and I'm going to lean into that. And I know that everybody wants to make this a race-based conversation, and it very well may be a race-based conversation, but I don't know yet. And so I need to know what was going on and how he just so happened to drown and he was there down by himself. Nah, bro. I'm not going for that at all.
Breaking out within Russia over the last few drops of fuel. Trips to gas stations are no longer just about waiting in line. They have escalated into open, violent confrontations. Russians are standing for hours in kilometers-long lines where brutal fights break out seemingly every other minute. Drivers are tearing each other apart to be the first to pull up to the coveted pump, fighting with gas cans and cursing everything under the sun.
Вызывай милицию! Алина, вызывай милицию! Вызывай милицию! Я сняла это все. Вызывай полицию! Да. Иди нахуй! Лысая тварь! Полицию жди! Ты меня ударил! Мама, сядь! Ты меня ударил!
Ну что, ребят, хотел вне очереди залезть, заправиться. К чему это привело? Ну-ка, подсними меня сзади. А они как давай меня сразу. Я говорю, я просто узнать, они мне давай. Я вообще какой день прошел, уже людей пиздил.
Скажи спасибо, что не обослали.
Короче, я домой. Или же в жопу с этим бензином. Просто узнать уже нельзя, понимаешь? Поехали домой.
Из перцового баллончика Вон еще раз, смотрите.
In an attempt.
So Russia is basically getting their A kick now because Ukrainians have adapted. And not only have they adapted, they actually are hitting different targets over in Russia. You know what the funniest part about this whole situation is? I remember when Russia attacked Ukraine. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that it was 2023. When Russia attacked Ukraine, they eventually said that, man, this is only going to take 2 weeks. We're about to be over there. We're going to run that city into the ground, and we taking over Ukraine. This was supposed to be a display of Russian military might. And it turned out to be an embarrassment because not only was it not a display of how great Russia was as a military, but it also turned out to be an embarrassment because they're losing. Was it 2022? Sheesh. Listen, Russia has lost millions of soldiers, millions of soldiers, billions, if not trillions of equipment, refinement capacity. Ukraine is tearing the frame out of Russia right now. The Ukraine is, I remember when I realized that the war was so bad was when I remember I had seen Russia do a deal with South Koreans to pay basically South Koreans to have their soldiers come over, and they started to import soldiers to fight the war for them. When I seen a battle on X, a knife fight, it was a knife fight between, I think it was like a Russian soldier and a Ukrainian soldier or something like that, and it got bad, it got bad because, see, the thing about it is that nobody actually expected Ukraine to even put up a fight. I mean, we knew that the world was backing Ukraine. We knew that our tax dollars was going over to support Ukraine, but we didn't know that this was going to be a thing. And you know what the tripped out part about it is? This is one of the things that I actually was holding Trump accountable for. Because I said there's a couple different things that I didn't agree with Trump about, right? Or not that I didn't agree with it, that he wasn't able to deliver, right? Because he got on it when it came to, you know, being able to get illegals out of there and getting ICE ramped up and all of that stuff. And he passed a big, beautiful bill and all of that stuff, right? But I was like, yo, he was not able to stop the war between Russia and Ukraine when he got into office. And I said that that was one of the things that he was going to take an L for. But at the same time, what Trump also said was, listen, it's in Russia's best interest and Ukraine's best interest to end this because they done lost over 1 million people. And that was around the time that they were starting to recruit the Koreans to engage in combat and battle with them, right? This is the equivalent of somebody that was posting up and posturing and puffing their chest out. Because make no mistakes about make mistake about it. You're right, 456. This is why I keep saying that there's proxy wars. Although Ukrainians are the ones that are on the front lines, it's the world, it's America that's continuing to support the dollars, the military equipment, all over this. All over this. And I'm telling you that this was one of the biggest mistakes as far as a world mistake, a world crisis mistake. This has to be the biggest mistake that we have ever seen a country make in our lifetime. In our lifetime. Not in the history of the United States, but in our lifetime. You're right, Riri. Putin don't want to end the war because it's going to make him look like a failure. It's going to make him look like an embarrassment, right? He was supposed to be tough. They projected this image. They said that they was a world power. And oh my God, bro. Oh my God. Now you got people over in Russia fighting for gas. They got people in Russia arguing at the pump because, and this is the thing that I say that we should be grateful for here in the U.S. We don't see wars fought on American soil. We don't see wars fought on American soil. Russians hadn't seen wars fought on Russian soil until you started to see them drones come in there. And you started to see them drones attack. They started attacking the oil refineries. They started attacking actual real targets within Moscow and all of that stuff. And Russia couldn't stop it. It's over, bro. It's over. And the thing about an opponent is it's always greater to be underestimated than it is to be expected and not to deliver. If you're underestimated, but you always over-deliver, then you're going to be the winner. Nobody expected Ukraine to win. So they won. They winning no matter, they losing because of what happened inside of their country and what happened inside of the people. But when you just look at it overall as a war itself, war is costly. War is expensive. is catastrophic, it's embarrassing, and it can actually ruin your plans. If Russia had never ever start to send troops and military over into Ukraine to where now Ukraine is able to attack Russia and tear them out the frame, the way that they tear them out the frame, Ukraine has gotten so good that they're now training the world on how to operate drones during warfare, and they got drone schools. You created a monster. You just literally created a monster. That's all Ukraine did. I mean, all Russia did was they created a monster called Ukraine, and the Ukrainians adjusted, and now they're not going to give up. Now they just want to break you because they don't have nothing to lose.
As Vladimir Putin makes a statement with his barrage of deadly strikes on Kyiv, the Russian leader is now facing trouble at home, as we hear from CNN's Claire Sebastian.
Two women screaming at each other over a spot in line at a Moscow gas station. Scenes like these are becoming more common as intensifying Ukrainian drone attacks have caused...
Because people are not used to actually affecting them on their own soil. When you don't have it on your own soil, you can create the propaganda, you can create the narrative, you can make people feel like, oh man, you know what, we might have had a hiccup, but we're actually winning the war. You can try to control the media and what gets in and out on the internet, but you cannot. When you start to see military, they doing them long range, 1,000+ mile military drone strikes. It's starting to be a shortage of oil. They got to buy oil from India all of a sudden. They were selling oil to India. Now, and this actually hurts China because China is one of the biggest importers of oil from over in the Middle East, Venezuela, Russia. China was one of the biggest buyers, and this is one of the reasons why they were partnering with Russia, right? China was one of the biggest buyers of all the world's oil because they needed it in order to continue to push their agenda forward. Now, it actually messes them. Bro, proxy wars are the worst, greatest invention ever. Because it allows for the U.S. to not get their hands dirty, continue to get back control of the petrodollar, and destabilize our adversaries' countries that were trying to put together BRICS and trying to put together this agenda that ultimately not only ruined the United States' reputation, but also gave them more power. And so now it kind of puts them at a disadvantage. The longer that Putin is in this thing, the worse off it gets for China, the worse off it gets for India, the worse off it gets for these other countries that aligned with BRICS, that align with Russia, that align with China. And it just messes them up because they're all interdependent on each other. And so now Russia don't have no oil to sell to nobody because they ain't got no oil for themselves. And they don't have no way to continue to finance the war. They already got the sanctions, right? And they didn't anticipate Ukraine being a monster. We created Frankenstein, and we didn't even know that we was doing it. We're fighting Russia through Ukraine. We giving them the dollars. And now the people in Moscow and the people all over Russia is fighting each other, and it's getting out on the media. Because usually what these countries try to do is they try to control what comes in and what goes out. China, Russia, they control what goes in and comes out on social media. 4.5 years later, Ukraine ain't like, well, listen, we ain't got nothing now. What's up? We don't have nothing now. It's up now. It's up on everything. It's up on everything.
Fuel shortages and panic buying. Well, CNN's analysis has found that at least 50 of Russia's regions, well over half, are now officially reporting supply problems. Unofficial reports coming from almost everywhere else. Lines outside gas stations forming from Moscow to Siberia.
Look at that
here
long
in the southern
line.
Krasnodar region, a video emerged showing two women berating a man for filling up a gas canister. Authorities have banned this in multiple regions to prevent stockpiling.
When the people start getting aggressive, when they start enforcing the rules, listen, Listen to what I'm saying, bro. When the people start enforcing the rules, you know it's rough. Because most of the time, people don't really care. You know what? He not doing it. You know what? What an a-hole. You're an a-hole, buddy. No. You're an a-hole. Save something for everybody else. But when they start enforcing the rules, hey. You know you're not supposed to have no extra gas cans, right? You know you're not supposed to have no extra gas cans, right? Is this what you want to do? This is what you want to do? And they start getting out the car. They start approaching you. You know it's rough out there. It's rough in them streets. The Russian streets is rough. And I know that Tucker Carlson is probably in shambles right now. Tucker Carlson wants Russia to come out on top because of his friends over there in Moscow. I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all. I don't like none of these people no more. I don't like Tucker. I don't like none of them. I don't care about none of these people. I think that they're all plants. I think that they all suckers. I think that they're all paid. I think that they're all being controlled. I don't like none of them. Now, I'm still a conservative. I'm still a Republican. But I don't like these people because they don't just objectively interview or do all of that type of stuff. They are ingrained. They are participating in what's happening. I don't like none of them.
Other Russians are coping with humor, turning hours-long waits into makeshift tailgate parties.
Till they start getting them drones, hitting them houses, it's up.
Joking that the best place for a date night is waiting for a fuel tanker to arrive, and that Russia's most expensive perfume is now gasoline. Well, this is getting so much attention that even Putin had to address this, warning that Ukraine's attacks are not just about causing physical damage, but about what he called an information operation.
In order to, at minimum, create uncertainty for us, or even better, to lead to a schism in Russian society.
All this could add to Russia's economic pain. Higher fuel prices mean higher inflation. But there is no evidence yet that it's going to convince Putin to stop the war.
Let's focus in on Ukraine's mission, Ukraine's refinery-focused drone campaign. What does Ukraine achieve with this battlefield strategy?
Ukraine has surprisingly achieved quite a lot if we consider that Russia is the largest producer and exporter of oil.
Look at that, bro.
An enormous system.
Look at what they doing over there to Russia. It got Russia. Yo. $20 box in Russia coming up soon. $20 box in Russia coming up soon. Yo, we about to see a defection of Russian women. I'm from Moscow. Oh. So you the $15 box. You from Moscow? Numbers went down from $40 to $22. $22. Box. It is what it is. It is what it is. The price of the brick has went down. Price of the brick has went down. No more Russian models. No more none of that.
Refining and transit from land and sea routes. So as a result of these sophisticated drone attacks, Ukraine has...
Anybody want to... So a woman straight imported from Moscow, got them for the low.
Has taken about 20% of oil
Passport
refining
bros.
capacity of Russia. And it's because the equipment to run these stations is expensive. It's not easy to repair, but also it comes from the West, where there are sanctions imposed to limit Russia's access to any equipment related to energy sector. So this consistent attack led to shortages in many Russian regions of fuel. We already see rationing of how much civilians can purchase. They can't have canisters to fill in to store home, but also this will impact the army, first of all, and this is the goal. The gasoline that is used for armored vehicles and all kinds of vehicles, the production of it dropped 25%. So much this is the problem that for the first time, Russia will have to import some of it from sea. So it's in talk with Kazakhstan and India to actually repurchase in India's processed Russian oil that it's refining back into Russia.
And we've seen such, vivid depictions of this rationing. We've seen lines and lines of Russian drivers waiting for petrol in Russian cities, along with the images of blown up Russian refineries. What has all this done to Russia's so-called energy superpower status?
Ain't no energy superpower status for Russia no more.
Clearly, it has damaged it to a large degree, and also something that Russian population could probably have not imagined. They have the flashbacks to the 90s when Soviet Union was collapsing and there was deficit of everything. So it's a strange, harbinger possibly of what awaits Russia, and people perfectly understand it. Putin will try to put up a brave show and will try to find alternative sources for this energy, but the question is whether he will have to pay hard currency for this, to which he's also running out because his war chest is drying up. We see Russia runs a huge budget deficit, more than it has expected. So all of this creates really a crunch time for Russia. And especially, let's recall that there will be so-called sham Duma elections, where one way or the other, Putin will have to show up the brave face, telling how this war is going in his favor, which obviously the Russian citizens perfectly understand it is not.
Yeah, but you know what the beautiful thing about America is? As much as people may try to criticize it, as much as people may try to, hate on it, at the end of the day, even though I still believe that the election was stolen in 2020, at the end of the day, we could literally choose our leaders. So when you see failure happening, in most instances, not all, but in most instances, it's because we picked them. It's because we picked them. Whereas they got to deal with that in Russia. They killed a political ops in Russia. In China, communist China, ain't no choices. Ain't no choices. It is what it is. You deal with it accordingly. You deal with it according to however it play out. And so Putin is not going nowhere. He's not going to all of a sudden disappear or they're going to vote him out after all of this time. No, not at all. He's playing Monopoly with his own ego, and he thinks that this is a video game. Eric D., I knew that was going to trigger you. Don't worry about it, big dog. I knew that was going to trigger you. Whenever I say, the election, I believe, was stolen, it triggers the Democrats every single time. Democrats go into shambles every time I say it. Oh, no, Anton, you're going to have to provide proof. I said, I believe. I don't have any proof, so I can't say definitively what it is or what it isn't. But what I always preface it by saying is my belief is that it was stolen. I don't have any proof. You're right. I can't prove it one way or another. You're 100% right. Ain't no way in the world, Eric D., that you ever going to tell me that Biden is the most popular president of all time. That Biden got 83 million votes. Get the hell out of here, bro. Get out of here. That's why I say I believe. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I heard R. Kelly is getting extorted. Think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. Did they cancel that song too? See me walking through that open door. I believe I can fly. I can fly. I believe I can fly. I can fly. I believe I can fly. Oh! Man, I need to let my voice heal over the weekend because maybe I talk too much. I don't know. Maybe I talk too much. I just enjoy what I do. I should have played some R. Kelly. That's what we gonna do tomorrow. I heard R. Kelly is getting extorted by the gang members in prison. I believe I can fly. I can fly. I can fly. Then they went up one more. Oh, man. Oh, man. We going Kells. We going Kells tomorrow. Get freaky in the club. Get freaky in the club. Get freaky in the club. Oh, yeah. We going our Kells tomorrow. We going Kells. Kells Thursdays. Kells Thursdays. Y'all want me to go TB? Hit it hard from the back. Roll around in the front. TP2.com. That's my album right there. TP2.com. TP2.com. And we going Kells tomorrow. We going Kells. That's how he started off the beginning of the album. Hit it hard from the back. Roll around in the... The ladies is like, yes. If Kells was free today, he would be touring. There would be no Chris Brown Usher tour. If Kells was touring right now, there would be no CB Usher tour. Keeping it under with you. What's up, Mama? Mama says it's Carmine. Oh, what up, Carmine? Hey, I gotta send Carmine some money. I'm gonna send Carmine some money today. I got you, baby. What's up, Carmine? Well, why you got Mama C Sanctuary? You're not Carmine, you Mama C. Mama C, Mama Sa, Mama Kusa. Mama say, Mama Sa, Mama Kusa. Mama say, Mama Sa, Mama Kusa. Mama say, Mama Kusa. P. Shanks says, good morning, Anton Daniels at the Millionaire Morning Show. What up, dog? What up, dog? Vito Royale says, Tony, feels so good. I like that. I actually like, let's get down, let's get down, let's get down. Let's get down, 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 down. I need a seat at the table in that chair at the Patreon, bro. Petro boat, is that what you need? Is that what you need, big dog? That's what you need? DJ Ace Productions says, John B, soft and sweet. I like to play it for the ladies. All right, DJ Ace, I'm going to take your recommendation because you are a DJ, by the way. I need that coaching call, says Chauncey. Chance! I got you, big dog. I got you, baby. I got you. All Natural says, AD, who were you talking to on the phone, please? Is that important? I was talking to somebody that needed direction on what they needed to purchase at the dealership. Y'all want to hear every single phone conversation? Wade Report says this kid was too clean for something not to be right. Something happened to him. That's a fact. YFN Lucci. Y'all want to hear some YFN Lucci, Dion H? Okay, I'm taking requests. Mike Too Smooth says those aren't his friends regardless of race. I agree. We need to do better vetting the people that we have around us. Not everyone has good intentions. A typical day. I agree with you 100%, Mike Too Smooth. You hit the nail on the coffin. The nail on the head. Helping out my aunt's food truck, watching the Millionaire Morning Show. Yeah! Shout out to Auntie's food truck in the building with ABJ Wise and Strong. Big up AD in the chat, my fellow bag chaser. Salute! Wesley Turner says communism seems to make countries weak. It does. Jude, what up, Jude, says apart from their nuclear warheads, Russia has always been an overrated military power. They're not even the same league as the U.S. military. Nobody is in the same league as the U.S. military. West Coast Pressure says Africans was fighting in Russia too. Was they? Y'all had booty scratchers in fighting in the Russian military? Marty Slice says, you better sing, AD. Hit it hard from the back. Roll around in the front. Shout out to Marty Slice. DJ Ace Productions. Okay, choir boy. What movie was that? Like eagles, y'all. Eagles. What was that? Remember the Titans? Like eagles, y'all. Eagles, y'all. Oh, I love this show. All right, y'all. Let's go to something a little bit more lighthearted. All right. We were able to hold some young people accountable, get them in a little bit of trouble. They decided that they wanted to go and do some things that they wasn't supposed to do. And so Waymo, that's what he said. He said, it's like eagles, y'all. Hold on. Y'all trying to play me. Trying to play me. Y'all acting like I don't know my movies. That's what he said. It's like eagles, y'all. Eagles, y'all. Like eagles, y'all. Eagles, yeah. Why do people think that just because they move their face like this a lot, that means that they can sing? Like eagles, y'all. Eagles, y'all.
Like eagles, y'all. Like eagles, y'all.
We got to get back to the show. I can't keep on doing this. I can't keep doing this. Okay.
Like eagles, y'all. Like eagles, y'all.
I don't know what's wrong with me. Something is wrong with me, y'all. Something is wrong with me. I don't get it. Anyways, let's make sure that we get back to the show. Y'all can't keep distracting me. Y'all can't keep distracting me, y'all. That was Remember the Titans. I've watched a lot of popular culture movies in my lifetime, and so we got to get back to it. Make sure you... Y'all want me to make that a soundbite?
Bizarre scene in San Mateo Monday afternoon when two teens were detained after their Waymo called police on them. Police say the Waymo stopped the car and alerted officers that its two underage passengers were drinking alcohol and appeared to be shooting guns out of the moving vehicle.
KTLA's Mary Beth McDade live in Hollywood with details on the unusual arrest straight out of the future. MB.
Yeah, and Mike and Jerry, it appears that two 15-year-olds made a lot of bad decisions. And, according to the Waymo website, these two 15-year-olds should have never even been inside the car in the first place. It says that no one under the age of 18 is allowed to ride in the car without being accompanied by an adult in the state of California. And as for that alcohol, well, no one is allowed to have alcohol inside the car, no matter what the age. San Mateo police can be seen surrounding a Waymo car Monday afternoon. They detained two 15-year-olds who were apparently riding around in the driverless car, drinking alcohol and shooting a gun out the window. Police say they were contacted by the car company and informed of the teens' bad behavior.
They saw what they described as a firearm in the vehicle, described it black in color, and at some point believed that the passengers were firing it outside of the vehicle, even at one point saying they believed they saw a recoil.
She says the Waymo rep went on to tell them the minors appeared intoxicated.
They had an open bottle of alcohol with them.
Police aren't sure how Waymo discovered the teen's suspicious behavior, but officers worked with the car company to conduct a high-risk traffic stop.
Right, we're getting a call that they're shooting a firearm, so that's pretty serious.
Waymo made the car pull over and disabled it. Police say the car company then tricked the young riders and told them the car was having mechanical issues.
And even though the car was disabled, the doors weren't locked. The passengers had the ability to get up and exit and leave if they wanted to, but they ended up staying stationary.
That's when 5 officers arrived and detained the teens. They also discovered the gun was an Orbeez, which shoots water pellets. Although it's a motorized toy gun, it can cause injury and damage, and it can look very realistic, especially ones that have been painted over. Police say this poses a danger.
And the danger really is the other person on the receiving end, right? They might feel threatened. You don't know how they're going to respond. You definitely don't want to put the law enforcement in that type of situation.
The incident follows another concerning one in Santa Monica last month, where teens were recorded riding around hanging out the open windows of a Waymo. Authorities encourage parents to keep an eye on their teens this summer so Waymo doesn't have to.
Listen, technology is advancing so well to where you're going to be the guinea pig. I get in an Uber, right? I took an Uber because I had to go drop off the Hellcat, and then I had to go pick up my car from the dealership. And so I don't like calling people and say, hey, man, can you follow me to the dealership or can you take me? I don't do that. I just go ahead and I buy the Uber and then I pay for it and I keep it moving. When I get into an Uber, if I jump into an Uber and I come to the studio and I don't drive here in the morning time, I automatically assume that they're recording. I don't even talk on the phone on speaker inside of the car just in case they notice me and just in case they decide that they want to record the conversation. Most Uber drivers keep a recording up there just to protect themselves, just in case a passenger do something that they're not supposed to do. A lot of times the very idea that you know that they're recording forces you to even be more on your best behavior. I assume everybody got cameras everywhere and everybody can see everything. I assume that everybody got cameras and everybody can see everything. I don't put nothing past no technology. I don't put nothing past people. I don't put nothing past anybody. I assume that when I jump on public transportation, when I jump on the queue line and come into the studio in the morning, when I do this, when I do that, I automatically assume that there's cameras recording. I automatically assume that there's people that got their phone out, that if anything was to ever happen, immediately the camera would pick it up and then that would just be the part of the conversation. I would. So I don't put nothing past anything. I don't. And so now they're deploying and they're leveraging technology to be able to identify and trick you until the police get there. So y'all think that y'all getting in these cars, y'all think that y'all could just come in here and do what y'all want to do? Nope. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I don't even use Waymo. We got them here in Detroit. I see them all over the city. They be all over the city and the new Waymos and stuff like that. They got all kind of technology. They be riding around all over the city. I haven't rode one. I'm not sure if I trust it. Maybe I'll try one just for content or something like that. But I just assume that everything is being recorded 100% of the time. You go into a neighborhood, let's say, for example, you getting into a little bit of a kerfuffle. Maybe you going back and forth with your chick or something like that. Man, them Ring cameras, they pick up all of the audio, bro. They pick up all of the audio. And them Ring cameras, they pick up all audio, bro. At this point, we've gotten to the point to where you just got to be on your best behavior 100% of the time. Women can record you. People be having on Meta glasses. People walk around with cameras. All of that type of stuff. Man, You only gonna be able to act up in your dreams at this point. You gonna go out there, go ahead and piss in the parking lot of a school. You're gonna be on the sex offenders list. You're going to be on the sex offenders list. And they're able to identify, oh, snaps, they got a gun, they outside of the Waymo, all of this stuff. Nope. Now they tricking you into messing up your own bag.
We want to give our kids freedom to have fun and enjoy their time.
AD, do you only do the Ring camera or do you do other setups? No, I have an actual alarm system. Like I have an actual system that you arm and disarm over my crib. And so what's attached to that is the keypads that activate the cameras. I got cameras all over my properties. I keep cameras in my places. I keep cameras in here. Yep. You're going to come in here and you're going to say something. You're going to be like, oh, man. No. It's right there in the documents that you sign when you walk in. Consent agreement, NDA, notice of surveillance, all of that type of stuff. And we're not going to use it. It's for my protection. It's for our protection in here. But you're not going to accuse somebody of doing something that they didn't do. Y'all see what happened to Tigger? Did y'all see what happened to Tigger? If we didn't have cameras to showcase what happened to Tigger, we talked about it last night on After Hours. If we didn't have cameras, if the little gay son wasn't recording saying, Mr. Tigger, if they didn't have that, Tigger was going to be hit, bro. AD, are you against using Ring cameras or cloud-based surveillance? I'm not for or against. I just understand the times that we in. I'm not for or against anything. I am just understanding that this is the times that we live in. And so I don't make the rules. I just got to make sure that I adjust and I adjust to the environment that I'm in. I don't make the rules. I remember one time I went into the casino and I took an L and I was pissed. And the reason that I was pissed is because it was a guy that was talking junk on the other end of the table. And so, if you're a dice shooter, it's not like the street, but it could be very, very much like the street. And so, we was shooting dice. And I was on the don't, and he was on the pass, and we started putting up big money, and he got the best of me. He didn't win, the casino won it, but he got the best of me. And so I took the L, and I wanted to, my ego was bruised. And I had to walk out nice and cool. And you know what the worst part about it is? You want me to tell you the worst part about taking that L? That day is that right after that, when I was walking out, somebody, oh my God, it was a girl. Oh my God, I recognize you online. Oh man, can we take a picture? And I had to smile right after taking my L. I had to do my smile. Oh yeah, yo, telling myself what up. I was burning up in the inside. I was pissed. I wanted to kick a chair. I wanted to do something stupid, but I couldn't do it. You know why? Because I got all of these cameras, and then there was people that recognized me, and then the dealers was over there looking to see how I was going to react to it, and then this person that I didn't know was going to come up to me, and they was paying attention. I seen you over there. I didn't want to say anything because I knew you were busy or whatever. Can I take a picture? And I was like, yeah, sure, absolutely. So you take your L. You gotta take your L. Just like everybody else. You don't get a pass because you're special. You don't get to make the rules because you think that you're awesome. No, guess what? You can't do the things that you was usually doing that you would have spazzed out of. Rah! Can't do it. Can't do it. You and your girl arguing. Your neighbors got cameras on the ring cameras. All right, so listen, we're going to continue this in the house. We can't be doing this in the public. Okay. Go in. When that door shut, you can't do the same thing that you used to do in public. This ain't the 90s. Something soft saved me. I was actually cool. Like, I would say maybe 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And then usually this. The valet will ask, hey, how'd it go, big dog? And then you give him that little fake smile. Yeah, it went cool. It went cool. Yeah, man, here you go. Here's a tip. Get in your car. I can't believe he got the best of me. And then you hit him with the same speech that we always use. I ain't never going back there again, like it's the facility's fault. Man, I'm done with this, bro. I'm done. I could have been at the crib. I could have been editing some videos. I could have been recording. I could have been doing this. I could have been doing that. Now you got buyer's remorse. You're thinking about all of the different things that you could have more effectively spent your time on. Take your L. Take your L. Take your L. We all have them. We all take them. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all getting tricked by these chicks out here in the streets. Right? You a eater. You went first. And then she got tired and said, oh, you know what? I don't really want to do this anymore. And now you stuck with the wet face. Mm-hmm. You didn't know. You didn't know that I knew that you was doing stuff that you wasn't supposed to do. You wasn't even supposed to be with her in the first place. And now you went first. She didn't reciprocate and you pissed. Now you got blue balls. Guess what you got to do? Take the L, bro. You can't get mad. You can't go and spaz out. You can't cuss her out. Don't send her no text messages because all she gonna do is screenshot them and put them on the internet and say story time. Don't do stuff that you took her out to eat. You spent all of this money and now she said, I'm tired. And she didn't even want to give you a kiss at the end of the night. Take your L. Take your L. No. Listen, this is the Millionaire Morning Show. This is what we do. We derail and we give real life lessons. We don't go based off of what's going on in popular culture. We talk about real life. All of us at some point throughout our lives, every single year, we take certain L's. My L may be different than your L, but your L is still relevant to you. It's meaningful to you. It's meaningful to you, right? Learn from it, adjust, don't get caught up. But this is the lesson that I'm telling y'all right now. What's the lesson here? Are y'all listening to the lessons? The lesson is such. Don't control it. Control it. Keep it bottled up. Keep it bottled up. When you get by yourself, you can let out that loud, yeah. Don't let nobody else see it. Oh my God, I can't believe it. But when you come out the door and everybody see you, what's up, y'all? What's going on? Everything is good. People take L's every single day. So he left you with a wet butt, made you sleep in a wet spot. You thought that you was going to hear from him the next day. He never called. Take your L. Don't get mad at him. Don't go do story times because you know you wrong. Don't start lying on him, trying to throw him under the bus. You're just going to make yourself look even worse because people are going to ask, well, why was you even over there in the first place with a dude that you wasn't supposed to be with? I just wanted to make him happy. Got spit all over your face, looking a mess, messed up your hair, trying to get it out of your hair, out of your weave. Just got your hair done. Take your L. You shouldn't have even been in that situation in the first. That's what you get for calling him late at night when you was leaving the spot and you was drunk and you needed a place to crash. And now look at you. Sticky hair, wet spot, no phone calls tomorrow. Take your L. I know the walk of shame. I know what y'all got going on. Y'all think I ain't aware? You think I'm living in a bubble? Nope. I know what you did last night. Now, we both go to the elevator at the same time. I see you with the sticky hair. You getting in the elevator. I get in the elevator. We coming all the way down from the 24, all the way. We got 25 flights of floors to go down. It's quiet. Ain't no music in that elevator. I see you. I see you. I may not say nothing, but I know what happened. I know whose apartment you came from because he got a reputation of doing that in his apartment. So when I see you in the morning and you getting in the elevator and you got your sandals in your hand and you got last night's outfit on and your hair is frizzy and it's sticky at the bottom, I know what you did. Take your L. Learn from it. Make adjustments. Then I got to make the awkward conversation, act like I didn't see it. Hey, how you doing? Good morning. Good morning. And I'm looking like this. And then I'm going to see him coming in the building when I get home from the Millionaire Morning Show. And he going to be like this to me. A wild night last night, dog. Yeah. He going to give me a high five. I'm going to be like, that's crazy. Take your L. Take your L. Everybody take L's. Take them in private. Take them in private like the rest of us. Stop trying to blame the world. Stop trying to act like it's everybody else's fault. Nope. Don't blame men. Don't say all men are evil. Nope. You know what you did. Everything all right? Good? All right, cool. Why do I get on the nerve? Because I'm real? Go get your sandals. Put them in the car. Take that long, it's a long ride home too. It's a hell of a ride home. When you sober and you sobered up and you ain't got nothing to lean on, you don't have no substances to be able to get you through that morning, you got to go and take your nap. You got to go and wash your hair in the morning. It's a hell of a ride. That's the longest 15-minute ride you ever had in your life. Take your L, learn from it, and make the adjustment. That's all I'm saying. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Oh, I'm going to have a real talk with you. What up to my dog B? What up, B? Says babies were made to TP. Hit it hard from the back. How you get away with being a black conservative? They hate me on here for my views. You immune, Anton? No, listen. You know what it is, B? I don't give a F. And they can't. Here's the key, B. Democrats and black, the hood, they act like they don't like you. You know what I experience when I see people, when I get in front of people on a regular basis, B? They say this. This is what people say. Yo, what up, bro? Man, you a wild. This is what they say every time. Word for word. What's going on, man? Man, I'll be catching your show on YouTube, man. I'll be catching you. I see how you be doing it. Man, you out there stunting on them, bro. Hey, man, you a wild boy. But guess what? Low key, man, I agree with you. I agree with you, bro. You know what I'm saying? I just can't say that because you know how they are out here, bro. We got to play it cool. But man, low key, it's way more people that actually rock with and agree with me. They just don't want to say it publicly. So I say the things that most people are thinking, but that they can't publicly admit to because they don't want to be accountable to their friends. That's it. That's the key. More people agree with me than not. And so when they see me or when they kick it with me, they be like, oh man, that's crazy, nigga. But guess what? Nigga, I said this, I be thinking the same thing, nigga. You just so happen to be the one to say it. And that's how they do it. They're waiting for somebody else to say the uncomfortable thing, and then they look around. And if people don't agree, they shut up. They shut up. So what you don't understand, B, is that it's a whole lot of people that actually, I didn't build this following. I didn't build this platform by saying the thing that people thought that I was right about. I built it by being honest about my thoughts. I'm consistent about how I feel and where I stand. And eventually, when you sit here long enough, or when you listen, if you listen to me and then you go back and you listen to a Blackity Black, you can't hear him the same no more. Because subconsciously, I've already unlocked something that's forcing you to question why you was even in that Democrat plantation in the first place, bro. Keeping it 100. So now they fighting with themselves because they don't want to like it, but they gotta like it. What you know about this song, Ooh Ah Remix by 3 Piece? I know Ooh Ah by Boyz II Men. Rob says, remember MJ's song, Somebody Watching Me? I remember everything. I pay attention to all pop culture references. All pop culture references. I want to spin a block real quick. I want to get to old people divorcing. But before I get to old people divorcing, I want to go to New Jersey. Now, I've been putting this off for a long time because there's so many different things that we've been having to cover on the Millionaire Morning Show. But Jersey, I got to bring you to the front of the congregation. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications.
Hey guys, good morning. Yes, right now the officials are weighing in on what could be one of the largest property tax increases the city has seen in years. Right now the proposal from Mayor James Solomon is calling for a 20% hike aimed at closing a budget gap of $255 million. It's a number that's quickly becoming the focus for residents trying to understand what this could mean for their finances. The mayor says this shortfall has been building for years, tied to past financial decisions that relied on one-time fixes instead of long-term stability. Despite rapid development across the city and a growing tax base, the administration says those gains have not been enough to keep up with rising costs. Officials say they've already identified money in savings and are working to bring in additional funding from the state. But even with those efforts, they say a tax increase is now part of the solution. For homeowners, that could mean a significant jump in annual costs. And for renters, there is concern that those increases will be passed along through higher rent. On Instagram Live, the mayor explained how an economic bomb has been ticking in Jersey City for years.
What do I keep telling y'all? What do I keep telling y'all every single week? I keep trying to tell y'all and I keep trying to help y'all to understand something. And when y'all keep talking about the cost of living is going to continue to go up. Not because it costs more or materials. It's because the costs are going to get passed on to the consumers. The costs are going to get passed on to the property holders. The cost is going to get passed on to the renters. You are not going to escape your bad decisions and voting habits. You are not going to escape your bad decisions and voting habits. You will be held accountable for it one way or another, and you can't escape it. It's just a way of the game. You can put it off, you can try to avoid it, but when you get to the point to where a city is saying, listen, we need to raise property taxes by 20%. Do you know how insane that is? Do you know how wild it is? And it's coming across all, it's going to come to a city near you. It's coming to all cities because they don't have any other way to balance the budget. They're just putting it off. They're putting it off. So eventually it's going to come to a city near you. If you are not living in a place that is managing their finances the right way, operating at a surplus, paying down their debt, continuing to recruit more corporate partners to come into the cities, then you are in the wrong space. Listen, we gotta throw away keeping it real. Keeping it real is gonna keep it real broke for you. We gotta throw away keeping it real. And the reason why we gotta throw away keeping it real is because you don't understand how this is gonna impact your finances. You don't understand how this is gonna impact your kids' schools. You don't understand how this is gonna impact your lifestyle. You don't understand how this is going to impact your living situation and your circumstances. We're going to have to be more strategic with where we find in a house. Now, it's not enough to say, hey, I'm a homeowner. Now you have to be careful on where you buy a house because that's going to affect your lifestyle. Because at any point they can say, well, we'll just raise property taxes to account for the budget shortfall and our mismanagement of city finances. It's no longer about, listen, if you love a city, but it's being ran into the ground, as far as how it's being mismanaged, you might just have to go and visit. I love California. I love Newport Beach. I love La Jolla. I could not in any way, shape, or form justify giving money and going to live there. I can't do it because it doesn't make economic sense. And I can see where the state is going. I see where the majority of these cities are going. And so I can just go and visit. I'm going to go and visit. Hey, man, you want to go over here for a month? Want to go over here for a couple weeks? Want to go stay there? I bet. We own it. We own it. We just going to have to go and visit. And we got to start thinking the same way that rich people. We got to think the same, because white people is in the same boat as everybody else. We got to think like rich people. You know what rich people do? They put their residents in a place that's safe from a financial perspective, that's tax friendly, that is on the economic upswing and rise, that lowers low property taxes, and then they go and visit everywhere that they want to go and visit. Your home base has to be somewhere, not the place that you think is going to be lit. Your home base has to be economically smart, right? You know why a lot of people are leaving New York City and moving over to Jersey? Because New York City is egregious. So now what you have to do is go to the place that puts you in the best situation possible, and then you can go and fly anywhere you want to go. That ain't nothing but a plane ticket away. Notice how all of the rich people left New York. Anytime that somebody got money and they sustained being able to get money for a long time, Fat Joe don't live in New York. He just go to the New York games. French Montana and them don't live in New York. They just go up there in order to go to the New York games when they won a championship. We went deaf on the chick. All I went deaf on the chick. Wayne don't live in Louisiana. Wayne live in Florida. When they figured it out, they was like, you know what? We need to be going to Florida to live. They don't live in the places that they represent. They moved to something that was more economically friendly, and they moved in a place that was safer for their children. Now they gonna tour and they gonna have a good time in your city, but they gonna live in a place that's ideal for them. So you gonna have to start looking at life economically from a business perspective on what makes the most sense. And if you're not paying attention to the political landscape, then you are in trouble. You're in trouble.
Deficit was a result of deliberate choices made by the prior mayor, draining the city's rainy day fund by over $100 million, selling off nearly 1,000 city properties to plug annual budget holes, hiding $52 million in unpaid healthcare bills.
And City Council is expected to take up that proposal today. And of course, we will keep you updated with the latest. Reporting live from Jersey City this morning, Corey McGinnis, Pix 11 News.
All very interesting because during a debate here on Pix 11 during his campaign, he said he was only going to do it within reason. Didn't really explain what reason was. So I don't know if this is what he was talking about here, but we shall see.
Hey, dog, he discussed it. You could tell he affected and he discussed. He said during his campaign when he was on this channel, he said he was only going to do within reason. I ain't never seen a newscaster disgusted at what's going on. Check out Dog.
All very interesting because during a debate here on Pix 11 during his campaign, he said he was only going to do it within reason. Didn't really explain what reason was, so I don't know if this is what he was talking about here, but we shall see. Corey, thank you.
Disgusted.
Very much. The anticipated pain of a massive property tax increase in Jersey City has been somewhat alleviated. Mayor James Solomon announcing his proposed 20% increase was cut to 15% after the state sent $120 million to the city, but there is still an $80 million budget gap. The administration says rapid development and a growing tax base not enough to keep up with the rising costs.
Your ideas, your push has sparked change. Addressing this historic budget crisis has been challenging.
Notice how all cities, all major cities, blue cities specifically mostly, and most major cities, most states, notice how they all got a budget crisis all of a sudden. All of them, everywhere. Notice how they have a budget crisis all of a sudden. Have I not been predicting this? Have I not been saying that this is going to happen across the entire nation? Yep, I did. All of them are starting to have a budget crisis. All of them. All of them. All of these cities is in shambles.
And will continue to be challenging. It is not one that ends today or in the next month or in the next year. We will continue to do the hard work of fixing a broken government because you deserve a government that works for you.
And I'm joined right now by the mayor of Jersey City, Mayor James Solomon. So, Mayor, great to see you. Thanks for being back on Picks and Politics.
Dan, thank you for having me.
So let me get right into it.
Man, he looked like a jailhouse lawyer. His suit is wrinkled. His tie is crooked. Man, what the hell we doing out here, y'all? I'm sorry, Mayor. I'm sorry. I just got to be real. You look crazy right now. Your shirt is not. You look like you just grabbed that shirt, that jacket out of the hamper, and you just start getting dressed from having sex. That's what he looks like. He looks a mess, an absolute mess.
Right, because of money from the state, you were able to actually revise some of these costs right here, right? So you were able to bring down the tax increase to 15%, which is still a hefty increase for families. And this really comes with cuts to city spending. So where, first of all, can you tell us where the additional spending cuts are happening with that increased funding from the state?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, I want to thank Governor Sherrill and our partners in the Senate and the Assembly for delivering the largest aid package to any New Jersey municipality in history. That speaks to the depth of the crisis that Jersey City faces. It also speaks to the depth of the crisis that even with a historic aid package, we are still forced to confront an $80 million structural deficit with tax increases and budget cuts. You know, I heard from my residents that 20% was too much. So we did the hard work of lowering that. We are going to be cutting transportation services. We are cutting park maintenance contracts. We are cutting wherever we can find it, and that has going to be able to reduce our budget by about $10 million. And then we have found through the additional state support, additional funds, and that has allowed us to go from 20% to 15% in our tax increase proposal.
But 15% is still pretty high. I mean, there's no way around that. So are you concerned, though, Mayor, that families would be forced to leave the city because of that tax increase?
I am deeply concerned about the impacts of this proposal, and I believe it is the right choice. And that, again, speaks to the depth of the crisis and what a difficult position Jersey City is in. This is the worst fiscal crisis in Jersey City's modern history. It's the worst in a New Jersey city since Atlantic City in 2015. Compared to Mayor Mamdani's budget deficit, ours is 13 times bigger based on the size of our budgets. That's not 2% bigger, 3% bigger. It's 13 times, that's percent, I should say, 13 times bigger than what he's dealing with. So yes, a 15% increase when gas is rising, when groceries are rising, is going to be deeply painful. But I also have an obligation to make sure that our government doesn't break, that our police can still respond to calls, that our 911 system works, that our fire department continues to be able to keep people safe. And what I've been committed to is not laying off our public safety department. Those are the ones that they're the biggest part of our budget, and I believe we need them to keep our city safe because our city's been growing. We've lost 150 police officers in the last 6 years while our population increased by 50,000. We need our public safety department intact, and I believe with the state aid and this increase and the painful cuts, we can get our city's fiscal house back in order.
So let me ask you this, because I just spoke to the Speaker of the City Council here in New York City, and she said that she didn't believe the deficit that New York City was facing at the time. The mayor had proposed like this $10 to $12 billion budget deficit. So is your number high? Do you believe the council will actually vote on this and is in agreement with you on what the deficit is?
So we've been talking to the council every day, and we're going to continue those conversations.
Do you think it'll pass?
forward. I do, but votes are votes, and my commitment is to just lay out the clear facts to everybody. But I think that speak to the depth of the crisis here. We didn't magically solve the crisis and have a 0% tax increase. A 15% increase is deeply painful, and a 15% increase is on top of the largest aid any city has ever received. Those are real numbers. We are faced with a crisis, like I said, 13 times bigger than the one New York City faced. So we have to work ourselves through it. But the depth of this crisis is real, and it's what is forcing such tough decisions before all of us.
Is there any hope, I guess, when you look at it, that the rate could be lowered once again, once you find your financial footing?
Going forward into the future, we are committed to responsible budgets. In the future, we're not going to be able to go below where we're at right now because, like I said, the only way to do that would be layoffs in our public safety departments, layoffs of police officers and firefighters.
Yeah, I don't mean to cut you off, but let me just ask you this, Mayor.
I believe that's the wrong choice for us.
I asked you a number of times when you were campaigning about tax increases and property tax
You
increases.
knew he wanted to get that question
minimal,
off.
Kind of with the cost of inflation, so on and so forth. Did you just not know when you were running how bad it was?
You knew he was going to get that. When he first reported on this, he was pissed about that. He wanted to get that question off a long time ago.
As a member of the council yourself.
So I knew that we were going to have to increase taxes. Where I always talked about doing so, around 5% at the rates of inflation to be able to maintain city services. When all of us, every candidate in the campaign, believe the budget deficit to be between $100 to $150 million. That is a tough budget deficit, but one that you could be able to solve with that type of an increase. When we got into office, our very first act was to basically start to audit the numbers, to get our arms around the full scope of the crisis. And that's when we realized the deficit wasn't 100 or 120, but it was 255. It was 30% of our operating budget.
It's coming. It's going to happen. Coming to a city near you. Coming to a city near you. It's happening. It's playing out exactly how I predicted it. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read a couple of these super chats. Shout out to Marty Slice, says, I'm in Bergen County, New Jersey, and I work in Jersey City. AD, my fiance, and I are starting to house shop, and man, I have a totally different mindset now. Pay attention to the right things. Shout out to the Patreon. Shout out to the Bag Chasers. Jersey is like 1-4 foreign born too. Shout out to Wesley Turner. AR's back says that's the YouTube Brandon Johnson. All Natural says, my apologies, AD. I should have asked if that was a different AI program you were conversing with us earlier regarding the city. No, I was talking to Gemini. And Gemini need to give me some money, bro. Real talk. They need to give me some money and give me my bag. Give me my bag, Jim. One more thing that I want to talk about before we get out of here in the 4-hour live stream that we do every weekday. So I need y'all to make sure that if you love what we do here, not only do you like the show, that you subscribe, that you share this with your friends and family and let them know. And it's only one morning show that can tackle a diverse range of topics while at the same time talking about taking L's and joking and having a good time and giving us a music interlude in the middle of the show. It ain't no other show that can do what we do, baby. And so if you enjoy what we do, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you tune in every single day during the 9 o'clock hour. And we going to get it in, baby. And I'm going to get you through your work day. By the time you get off of the Millionaire Morning Show, you're going to be saying, man, work is almost done. Work is almost enjoyable for some of y'all now. Work is almost enjoyable for some of y'all now. Y'all like, man, I don't mind going into work because I can get a lot of stuff done and I can laugh. And I can laugh. And you know why you can laugh? Because we don't take ourselves too serious. I don't censor people. And I'm looking forward to actually meeting the majority of y'all, if I haven't met y'all already, at the Patreon meetup on the 25th in DC. Shout out to everybody. All right, we got another story that we got to cover. It's not over yet. We only had about 3 hours and 35 minutes. We got another story that we got to cover. And Patrick Bet-David was speaking on this. And so I want to bring this into the conversation. And then I want to get y'all thoughts because I haven't seen it yet. And I'm reacting to it in real time.
You want me to tell you how many thousands of stories I know of men that worked their tails off to build a business and they were taking for everything they had?
You got it, Nick.
Everything they had, and then they have nothing. And they're
What up,
sitting
Val?
there and they work their asses off in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and then this happens. Did you see the story of baby boomers right now are the biggest category of divorces, up 40%? 40% of divorces right now in America are baby boomers. Did you know this?
I did not.
I'm sorry, 40% of divorces right now in America are over 50 years old.
And it tripled among 65-year-olds and over.
It tripled in baby boomers category. So why are boomers getting a divorce?
Yeah, we're
Think
doing
about
room
that.
9 tonight.
Why are boomers, Tom, why are boomers getting a divorce? Why are boomers getting so many divorces?
Well, to be honest with you, I think there's a correlation. This is my unscientific observation. Here
we go.
But you take no.
I'm actually going to add this into the conversation tonight, y'all.
Oh, think about this. I'm not making a joke here. Take a look at the number of women 40 to 50 years old that have flipped liberal over the last 15 years. Look at all of the polling and statistics that are out there. I think there's contention that is happening as the boomers age, and I think there are ideological splits that are happening. I think that's part of it.
Tom, it sounds like you're blaming Trump.
Because you look at it and you say, wait a minute. If this percent of women 40 to 50-year-old have moved to the left and are doing this, are all of them single? Are all of them single and angry? Or are some of them married? And what does that do to the relationship? So that's my unscientific observation, Pat.
I have a different theory.
Go ahead.
And totally just spitball and speculation. Maybe it's because, once the kids are out of the house, some people are like, man, I really don't like you. We were just together for them. And they're jumping out because of that.
Yeah, but you'll see them. You wouldn't see a triple digit. You wouldn't see a triple jump among 65 and older. I think it's becoming more socially acceptable, number one, to get divorced. I think also, I always talk about it, we're stepping away from God as a society. So working at things is not a necessity anymore, right? You don't have that quality that you apply to the relationship. And I think church holds relationships together. And if you're not working on your relationship, and everything in society now is starting to bleed upward, meaning young people are being told, look at your phone, you get whatever you want, immediate, gratification. And that's slowly bleeding into older people. And they're starting to say, I don't want to put in the work anymore.
I believe that there's a lot of people that are now, first of all, a good relationship don't have to necessarily be work. That is the biggest myth, in my opinion, ever. A good relationship does not have to be work. A great relationship should be understanding, right? Listen, I understand that you like doing this and I don't necessarily like doing this. And so I don't want to do it, but you do. And so I'm cool if you go, but I don't want to go. A great relationship is evolution. Hey, listen, you know what? I've been in the streets a lot before, you know what I'm saying? I don't really want to be out there in that type of space no more. I'm trying to do something different. And so I believe that the things that sustain is where y'all find common ground. And I've been right again 1,000% of the time, right? I say, and the advice that I give people all the time is you spend 98, 99% of your energy on the thing that you like about a person and the other 1 or 2% about the things that you don't. If you spending all of your time focusing on the thing that you don't like, instead of making adjustments on where y'all going in life, you will not last. No matter how much y'all like each other, no matter how cute her buddy is, no matter how nice, whatever it is that y'all like about, if you start to get away from that, it's over. It's over. And so the things that was holding y'all relationship together, which I don't care if boomers get divorced. Let me keep it 100 with you. That has no bearing on me whatsoever. I'm more concerned about people that decide not to stay together that got young kids together. If older people spend the majority of their time, they raise their kids, they put it together and all of that, and people are cool. If they doing the LeVar and Tina ball, hey, listen, ain't nobody hurt. Everybody raise their kids. Everybody is cool and keep it moving. I don't like when people don't raise their children in a two-parent household. It puts your kid at a disadvantage, and it shows that you're selfish. I don't like when people have children out of wedlock. It puts your kid at a disadvantage, and it shows that you're selfish. And then you get on there and you start talking about, oh man, I need a man to pick me and my kids at the same time. If you can get one, cool. If you can get one, cool. But at the same time, I think that kids need their fathers and their mothers. They need their fathers and their mothers. And I will tell you that the biggest influence and the biggest impact is social media. It's social media. Social media got the world in a chokehold. Social media, being influenced by people that you see online, thinking that it's sweet out there and it's not, thinking that it's cool to just only being with cats, you're going to have yourself by yourself messed up. And the thing that you liked about them is going to be completely different than the thing that you don't like about them tomorrow. Social media, in my opinion, has these people in a choke hold. And it is messing up a lot of these relationships because they're not giving you information on how to be successful or how to be a better person or how to evolve or what you should be focused on. And they're telling y'all, oh man, this and that and so on and so forth. It got people thinking that inflating their value. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. People are inflating their value. They think, and I ain't even just talking about boomers, I'm talking about people in general. Man, and I keep telling y'all this. 99%.
About it, we're stepping away from God as a society. So working at things is not a necessity anymore, right? You don't have that quality that you apply to the relationship. And I think church holds relationships together. And if you're not working on your relationship, and everything in society now is starting to bleed upward, meaning young people are being told, look at your phone, you get whatever you want, immediate, gratification. And that's slowly bleeding into older people, and they're starting to say, I don't want to put in the work
I think it's lack of support structure. Outside of the church, we become atomized because we're all off in our individual things, whether it be social media, getting involved in the screen. You don't have the same sort of support structure, and that includes family, too. We move away from our families. We don't have an immediate support structure from your family or neighbors. We completely disconnected from our neighbors, too. So it's much easier.
No. Listen.
I agree with you, too.
I know that I don't have to prove anything. The receipts is the receipts. All of this stuff is still on my channel from years ago. The bag chasers, I've seen all the receipts. I show my payments. I show my bank accounts. I've shown everything. It's not about proving. It's that every day I get new people subscribed to the channel. Every day I get new people that discover me and say, oh man, I didn't know that you really did this. I didn't know that you really did that. And so sometimes you got to remind people who you are. Sometimes you have to, thank you, Yvette. Sometimes you have to remind people of where you came from and how you got to the point that you got to. Nobody ever gave me nothing. Ain't nobody ever did nothing for me. We hustled. We got it out the mud. And so this is not for him. This is for the people that are just discovering me to try to figure out why is he named the Millionaire Morning Show? Why does he have over 24,000, almost 25,000 Patreon members? It's because I'm him in real life. I'm him in real life. So the thing that we have to ask ourselves is, what's wrong with the maddies? What's wrong with the male baddies?
Something has definitely changed in political discourse. For many years, you would be able to have decent, disagreements, even with your spouse, deep disagreements, but at least came from everything from the same perspective. But over the last,
don't mute him either.
20 years, certainly in the age of Trump, this attitude has taken hold, whereas you're a Trump supporter, I can't be near you.
Yeah. And look, common values. I would, my sister and my brother-in-law, when they got married, my sister's Christian, he was Baha'i.
Mm-hmm.
And Baha'i is, I don't know if you're familiar with Baha'i or not.
I just saw a video on it like 2 days ago.
On Baha'i. Okay,
on
great.
YouTube,
So Baha'i, great family. The wedding, they have two services. So they did a Christian service and they did a Baha'i service at their wedding. We're like, whoa. But guess what? Even though it was Baha'i and Christian, the values was similar. Now, my mother and my dad got married. They're both Christians. But my mom's family communist, my dad's family imperialist. They married and divorced each other twice. Obviously, eventually, Siamak, who was Baha'i, he's now Christian, devout Christian. They've been married 20 plus years. Beautiful family. They've done great work. So values matters. Very important when you marry someone. I was dating a girl. I really liked this girl. And we were together. So one time I took her to a Billy Graham. He was in Pasadena. If you look up Billy Graham Pasadena, November 2003. Let me see if I get the dates right. I may be off by a year or two. I think November, Billy Graham Pasadena, November Rose Bowl. Okay, 2003. Put 2003. See if I get the date right or off. Oh, I was right. Okay, 2004. So Rose Bowl, Pasadena, November of 2004, Billy Graham comes to preach. I go every day except for one day. I take this girl with me because she was a Muslim. I take this girl with me, and we're there every day. And I'm like, what do you think about it? No. What do you think about it? No. She was a gymnast. We got along funny as hell. Then I said, so let's talk politics. At that time, it was John Kerry and Bush. That's what was going on a little bit afterwards. And she was a full-on UNICEF liberal, all that. And I said, listen, I'm just telling you, there is no way, as much as we have fun, there's no way this is going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
No way.
Here's the real thing. Most people can't separate themselves from the person that they start to like and realize that this person is not a good person that I need to be in a relationship with. A lot of times people get together for superficial reasons, and those are the reasons that they stay together, but it's not a good enough reason for them to be in a relationship with each other. And a lot of times that's surrounded around sex, right? It's surrounded around looks. It's surrounded around a lot of these things. Hey, we like to go and eat. Yeah, but y'all, you Muslim and he Christian. You conservative and he Democrat. You masculine and he's masculine. Right? You're going to bump heads. So a lot of times people are trying to force a square peg in a round hole. And it's not going to work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It will not. It does not. Most of the time, it's a crash and burn situation. You trying to force yourself to be with somebody because you like something about them instead of understanding whether or not they should be around you where you going, it's gonna be a disaster every time. And the real trick is that people are getting with people knowing that they shouldn't be with those people, and then they start to have ties to them, right? They start to have these strong holds and bonds because you actually like them, and it's hard to get away from them. It's hard to get away from them. Why even entertain it in the first place? You know why you entertaining it? Because you're dancing with the devil. I'm not talking about literally, I'm talking figuratively. You're dancing around with an issue and you tempting yourself and you're going to try to force yourself to pull away from it, then it's dumb. It's dumb. You don't put yourself in a position to where you have to reject something that you voluntarily put yourself into. It's a recipe for disaster every single time. Ain't even no conversation to have. Hey, listen, look, I'm not about to have no conversation with you about why I shouldn't be talking to you. I shouldn't be talking to you. They're not changing. They're not evolving. You're not going to talk to their parents into seeing something different. You're wrong. You said your grandma stayed married until death did her husband apart, and she lived a soft life and did not have to work, but she was still a masculine woman. Wrong. A lot of times these women, these guys are suffering through the relationship that they are with, and it's not that he liked her being masculine. It's not that she did anything well. It's that he just wound up suffering through because he didn't have no other choice in order to see his kids grow up the way that he grew up. You're wrong. Y'all keep acting like these guys were so happy with the chicks that they was with. Man, dudes had whole other families on the side back in the day before social media. Whole other kids, whole other towns. He stayed at work because he couldn't stand coming home to her monkey head. Nobody want to deal with her. Nobody want to deal with her. They stayed together because they didn't have nothing else better to do. Not because he enjoyed her. You're wrong. You're wrong. And I'm sick. Listen, y'all got to stop making excuses for being masculine. If you want to be listen, I don't care what you are. If you want to be masculine, be masculine. But stop trying to make it seem like I like it. No, I don't like it. I don't like it. I hate you acting like a straight up man. That's not cute. It's not fun. And just because guys are waking up nowadays and saying, you know what? We had a good time, but it's not gonna be a long time. That's why you're finding yourself on the other side. They lied to you. They lied to you. The word of God says you'd be better off sleeping on a roof than dealing with a quarrelsome woman. You'd be better off being on a roof and the outside elements than dealing with a quarrelsome woman. Anybody about to deal with that nonsense? Please. Be on your own by yourself. On your own by yourself. You know why a lot of these guys don't retire, Sierra? You know why a lot of these guys don't retire? Because they don't want to be at home. He don't need the money. He ain't tripping. He incentivized. He's like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Newsflash, your grandmama can't even cook that well. We lied to her, told her that her stuffing was good. It's not. It's not. You said, but men won't divorce him, K. Cooper, because we creatures of habit. It take a lot to push us over the edge. But these younger people, they're less likely to deal with the foolishness. They don't have to deal with that as long. They not. And that's true too, DJ Ace Productions, because they don't want to lose their stuff. So they also take that into consideration too. All of y'all grandmas wasn't throwing down in the kitchen. That's a lie. That's a lie. Grandmama couldn't cook worth nothing. Trash. Garbage. Made him his lunch. He threw that junk away as soon as he got there and started eating at the food truck. Trash. Garbage. I don't want to bust y'all bubble. We chilling. We chilling. We chilling. We chilling. This was a fun show. This was a very, 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 very fun show. Very fun show, man. This was a super fun show. I had a ball. You know what the worst part about this show is? That I only get to do it 2 more times before the weekend. That's what the problem is. I love it. And he hooked my car up on a low. He hooked it up. He did. He hooked it up. Shout out to my guy, man. Yeah. Shout out to him. Let me show y'all his Instagram first, too, before we get up out of here. Gotta show my guy some love because he out here cooking up. If you in Detroit, you want a mobile detailer, this is him right here. That's him right here. All right, he do some really great work. And he out here taking care of business. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Aqua Mobile Spa, cooking up, doing his thing. So yeah, he did his thing. So when you see that blue thing, that blue missile coming down the freeway going, you know who detailed it. All right? Let me read some of these super chats. Damn, we got to get off. We still got almost 2,000 people in here. Wesley Turner says, 80, you got to pin the clip about Chicago. Well, I got you. She's 50 now. What up, 50? Says, Anton, today was a phenomenal show. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed you, 50. Chad from Moore says, this reminded me. Been meaning to ask for a while, why are some of the earlier videos removed? Because we moved a lot of those videos, a lot of the vlogs, a lot of the stuff. We've been moving them around to Patreon and stuff like that. And so I only drop vlogs on Patreon, and it's a lot of different things that's been moved around. So a lot of that information, a lot of that game and stuff, it's exclusive to just bag chasers and stuff now. Chase Alpha says that's definitely James B. Fields. What up, Mrs. Bailey? Says Mr. Daniels. Yeah. 808 Kid says liberal AD seems more like your twin than you. Listen, some of us used to be a part of the Democrat plantation. You know, talking a little bit more proper, getting that bag in corporate America. It was what it was, man. We all evolved. Because I'm him. You know what I'm saying? Tiffany Monique, what up, though, baby girl? All right, listen. Again, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off of life. I truly enjoy. Shout out to Black Hellcat is back. I know you're going to get yours, bro. You're going to get yours. Shout out to Bailey. Bailey Ann in the building. I appreciate you. Yeah, man, we gonna get to it. All right, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna see y'all on After Hours tonight, room 9, and then back on the morning show in the morning. And then I'm gonna update the Patreon with more information. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Gotta get to it. Peace.